All right, and welcome to episode 153 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Powers, and joining me this week, we have Chase.
G'day.
Steven.
Hello.
Rachel.
Hi there.
And no Chris, because he's having trouble with microphones again.
We almost had him, gosh darn it.
Almost. He was trying to get in here, but the man has so many recordings. Someone just had a ringtone go off or something.
Sorry, it was a pocket chocobo.
I was about to say, was that a chocobo?
It was a chocobo. It's not as funny of the reaction as when my normal text tone goes off, which everyone's like, why is that man's voice like that? I'm like, oh, sorry, it's my pocket Misha. And they're like, oh boy.
Oh God. You would have pocket Misha.
Yep.
All right, so
know it.
we missed last week because I had a parade I had to go do photography for, and we just ended up taking the week off. It was kind of a slow week anyways. But this week we have a bunch of stuff to cover, mostly around the 2024 Game Awards, mostly about what they showed off, not so much about the actual awards. So it's very much on theme and on brand for them. But before we jump into that, we will go into what we've been doing. So just to start that off, because, well, Steven's got a list. Let's start with you. Steven, what you been doing?
And it starts with the obvious first. Still playing ZZZ and Multiverses, although when there's waiting time before the next season and you've unlocked everything, you just get your daily logins now and wait. So that's slowed down. Because that's slowed down, I've gone on a tangent of others. Marvel Rivals came out. I've been playing that. Don't like it that this stuff doesn't carry over from Xbox to PlayStation. So if you buy a battle pass on one, you don't have it on the other.
Yeah.
But I digress. I've still been playing
Overwatch.
it daily. I just finished the first page and I'm about to unlock Jesus Strange. That's what he looks like.
Strange.
Some of those intros and stuff are amazing of just how they present each costume. So that's good to know. I'm enjoying it. I'll just keep playing it because I have my favorites. I'm getting pretty good with Hawkeye, so it's fun to play.
Well, I'd like to join you again at some point because we were playing it, and then if somebody, Steven, or Chase, would actually download the damn thing, we could play it again.
You download it on PlayStation.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. Last time we couldn't get him in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know what he was doing that day. The other game never wants me to leave, so they did a free update to Power Wash Simulator where I had to clean up an ice rink. With just one stage. There was a free DLC update, so I just did it. I was just like, okay, when's the New Year's Eve one? When's the Arbor Day one? Like, you're going to keep adding stuff.
Of course. I need to go in there and check that.
I don't know if we'll cover it in the Game Awards, but they actually did a shadow drop for what I like to call Hell Drivers. Because they added basically the new race, which are just zombies, but they call them the voteless.
Just go ahead and cover it here.
But it was a lot of fun. The car is cursed because you would think that they would have the controls like you would in every other open world game you've ever played, where it's just left trigger reverses, right trigger accelerates. No, you have to shift into that gear. So I've had problems where I'm in neutral and a bomb's about to go off. I've had a problem where if chases the gunner and I flip the car over, he gets crushed. So that was fun too.
Wow, the realism in the game. That's impressive.
So it's not a Halo eject.
Unlike Halo, you cannot flip the car. Once it's flipped upside down, it is dead. Most like your chances of completing the mission.
Pretty standard for that game.
And the most meta one yet, I played the Tetris 99. So you got to play to earn the original NES Tetris theme, and as well as the part of Tetris Forever came out, and then Nintendo Switch Online gave you 2 more Tetrises. It's been a Tetris month, so I like it.
Boy.
Yeah, I played a lot of Tetris DX.
The last of the games I played, which has, I'm going to say, the most convoluted, deep, and most complicated UI in the history of gacha games, Infinity Nikki.
It is very convoluted, yes, but it's fun.
I enjoy the part where every button is a costume. So if in order to do something, it has to be a costume.
Mm-hmm.
And I do enjoy that I got to pick which outfit I'm going to build towards, and I have to basically get the swan outfit. So I was like, sounds good to me. The game is surprisingly very diverse. It's just you can kind of like Zelda, you find out when you need to get a new outfit because they're like, how are you going to get this outfit? Well, I need to make an outfit in order to groom pets and collect their hair. So I was like, okay, that's my next mission, I guess.
It is really fun. I'm playing it too. I have not played a lot of it, but you don't have to pay any money at all to it if you don't want to. They have said yeah.
When you get what they call the Pair Pal, which is their PDA, you get so many red notifications that it's going to take you at least 20 minutes to press the right buttons to get through all of them to claim a gem that you don't even know what it does yet. So I was like, all right.
See, I'm sitting here going, I keep getting all these diamonds and I don't know what they do. I can see that they're in the little shop.
Yeah, the diamonds are basically like used for trying to get more outfit pieces.
No. There's one little thing, and then there's diamonds, and then there's the blue gem looking thing, which is what you actually spend on the resonance thing to get items. But I have like 3,000 diamonds at this point because of all the codes I've inputted, and I don't know what the hell to do
game,
with
but it sounds like you're describing a cell phone game. It's like,
oh yeah, I didn't do the codes yet. I got to do the codes.
It is also a cell phone game.
Oh God, okay.
And it's cross compatible, so any progress you make on the phone will be carried over to, say, playing it on the PS5.
Yeah, you hear that, Marvel Rivals?
Yeah, so I am this is kind of a group discussion, but I'll end it shortly. I literally was playing it at lunch the other day, but I wasn't really playing it. I was just doing my dailies and my redemptions and stuff like that.
Yeah, dailies.
Like I just have not. I'm still trying to find the bee. Like I have to find a bee, and I don't know where the bee is. So, like a little fuzzy bumblebee to get an item to complete this quest. I don't know where this bee is. I'm just having fun.
There's that one guy who actually quizzes you on all the stuff that you hopefully been reading, I guess, each time. And he's like, can you try again? I'm like, here's that answer. Then he's like, okay.
Oh, but yeah. No,
I expect you to be reading all the lore. And I was like, God help me.
I'll be honest.
That intro is just Jump Up Superstar sang in a different key.
Really?
It sounds like the same singer.
Oh my God! I didn't even make that connection, but I was like,
what is this? Jump Up Super Nikki? I was like, what is this?
I was like, this song is a bop, man. Like,
yeah.
Like,
that was the first time you heard it.
My coworkers had me turn it up and was like, "This is good." And I was like, "Yeah, it's very good." But I keep getting distracted by pretty things. Like, one, I'm not reading all of the lore stuff that I can pick up with like books and everything.
Me neither. I just get the sparkles out of the way, so
I get this. And then I just pull up the answers to that guy's trivia question because. I don't have time for that.
He let you just guess again. So like,
well, there you go.
But apart from that, off of the games, but still in the games, I watched a few shows. One, I watched a documentary that's on Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
It's called "It's in the Game: The History of Madden." It started out like a puff piece because they were like saying how great Mr. EA CEO was and where he came from and how special it was, and then it actually turned into spouting facts about like why Madden 96 never came out, and it was because NFL 2K was so good that NFL Game Day was so good that they didn't want to release Madden 96, so somebody had to go tell John Madden himself the game wasn't coming out. And surprisingly, which I don't know if it's true, but in this is not a spoiler because it's a documentary, but in the in the last episode they talk about because Sega released one of the NFL 2Ks at $20.
It was 2K5.
That pissed off the NFL and the Players Association. So they said, you're devaluing our brand. So then that's when they were like, maybe we should sell somebody the license. Who wants it? And Sega's like, nobody's going to buy that. Everybody's going to make football games. And EA's like, we'll buy it. And they said that. They said in the documentary that led to the downfall of Madden football. And they've been trying to dig themselves out since. And I was like,
2K5 was one of the few. The 2K series were actually one of the few ways I actually enjoyed playing football games. Like they were just so well done, and yeah, they may have thought it was devaluing it, but it kind of showed them that, yeah, we can do more with less and get this out there. And yeah, anyways.
And then other than that, I watched Secret Level. I was very selective of what I was watching really quick. I think Chris and I are going to try to watch the rest tomorrow or something.
Are they all out, or is it releasing?
It's all out. Yeah, all 6 are out of season 1, so no Mega Man yet.
Okay.
But there's Unreal Tournament, there's Space Marine Warhammer, there's D&D, which is pretty good for the little story you get for D&D.
Really?
There's Sifu, or Sifu, however you say it.
Sifu, I think it's called.
And then probably the best weird version of Pac-Man they've ever done, because Namco actually told them, go as weird as you want, because they're making a game based on that called Secret Labyrinth, where basically Pac-Man is this giant ethereal robotic monster who eats the bosses for you. Very odd, very bloody, very gory. The most gory Pac-Man episode I've ever seen.
Oh, God. Yeah, I need to watch those. I keep forgetting they're out. That's on Amazon, right?
Yeah, Amazon. Very well done, too.
I'll have to check that out later. Probably not tonight, because we'll be playing games after the show like we usually do, I hope. So, all right. Chase, what about you? What have you been doing?
Last week I finished Dragon Age Veilguard.
Ooh, how was it?
Really good. Really enjoyed it. I know there's some mixed feelings about it, but I enjoyed it. It basically felt like Mass Effect 2 to me. Like,
that is not. That's a pretty good
in its own way.
Credit, yeah.
Like, so yeah, I enjoyed it. Played Helldivers 2 with Swan because the new update. I was like, hey, anybody want to play the new Illuminate and see what it's like? It's pretty fun.
I was there for like a mission and a half.
Yeah. No, you jumped in. But Swan's right. That car is cursed, depending on who's driving it.
It brought it from Ghost Recon days, though.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to see it because I haven't got a chance to watch it yet.
It actually did. It brought me back to the Ghost Recon Breakpoint days, man. Like, but the only thing was though, is that car like never flipped. Like the wheels were like had magnets in them or something. This car was absolute chaos. So
I mean, the terrain is already such a mess. I can only imagine how much this thing bounces everywhere.
They brought in cities now.
Oh, I haven't been into a city yet.
So you can actually, they actually have like, they have maps now where like there's an open area and that looks like what you would just normally expect from a Helldivers level, but then you can actually go into like a town now with buildings. It's cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, because the only match I got to play with you guys last night, we were in a base like defending the gate. So that's all I've seen. Yeah. I mean, we've done that before, kind of.
No, this is cities. They actually have like areas with like towns and cities in them now. It's awesome.
Cars that explode, all that.
Hey, that's what we wanted. We asked for that, so cool.
Yeah, they did this new thing though that I'm kind of a little bit disappointed with, and now that they are withholding stratagems behind war bonds.
Yeah.
And I thought they weren't going to do that, but I wonder if maybe because the player counts like decreased so much that they don't, maybe they just don't feel they have a choice. I don't know. Because I think the player count's definitely dropped off with all the drama and everything that's been involved with it.
Cutting out countries that paid for it didn't help.
No, but then I think there's even after that though, there's like this huge kerfuffle about it because every time they did something that people didn't like, it just could get review bombed and then they'd roll back on it and all this stuff. And it's like that. I kind of feel sorry for that game because like that development team is just held hostage now.
Although the rumor is their next big update or crossover is supposed to be with Killzone.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Killzone in a while.
Be nice to.
That would require Sony to remember what the hell Killzone is.
Yeah, because the last game was pretty terrible.
They're going to bring in Killzone, Resistance.
Yeah, another shooter. 2 shooters that Sony has that were absolutely amazing, and then nothing. They just left them to die. It's sad.
You guys remember SOCOM?
Put them in Astrobot and forget about them.
Yeah, I used to play the hell out of SOCOM. Do you guys ever mess with that one?
Oh, yeah. I love SOCOM.
Yeah. SOCOM.
I never played Confrontation. I just played the PS2 ones.
Yeah, I played the PS2 ones. I didn't play the one that Zipper made because anything that Zipper touches tends to be a mess
I think
sometimes.
I think the SOCOM series pretty much died because of the last one they released was the same day as the hack.
Yeah.
Whenever they went down, and it was an online required game when that was still a new thing, and it was like, you're fucked.
And Mag was before its time. That was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mag
I
was a
don't
super
play
good
those.
idea.
I don't play those kind of games.
But you get to shoot each other.
Okay.
Oh, and Warhawk. We forgot Warhawk. Okay, there's another dead one.
Oh god,
yeah, I forgot about that. That was a PS. Wasn't that a launch title? PS3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like one of the last
yeah,
games
it
shut
was
off their servers.
That was a weird one.
that was. Yeah, I remember that. That was.
Don't worry, Rachel. We need to find some time. We can all play Sea of Thieves.
Yes.
And Lair.
They just made
I
Sea
forget
of
Lair.
Thieves changes too. Oh
They
god,
did.
Lair. Yeah, that was a whole
They did
mess.
make more changes in Sea of Thieves, which is actually a good change.
Yes. But
It allows you to play by yourself with your friends while still getting like all of the benefits of doing so, but there's some certain level caps now. So
yeah,
Between that and content warning, we need to get into it.
for sure. So what else you had going on, Chase?
So I watched like Swan. I watched Secret Level.
Mhm.
I only watched one because that's the only one of them I cared about.
Let me guess. Did you watch Warhammer?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
because
yeah.
So according to what I've read, is that episode canonically takes place right after the end of Space Marine 2. So you actually get to see the mission that Titus goes on, that he gets selected for.
Okay.
That was probably, I mean, watch it yourself, formulate your own opinion. I didn't really understand the point of it. I don't know if you watched that particular episode, Swan.
No, but the D&D was the same way. It didn't connect to anything or make any sense. So I wasn't sure what was the point of it either, other than just celebrating the world. But the Pac-Man one is definitely a prequel to the game.
But I like, yeah.
Oh God.
good lord.
Christmas is here.
Literally,
job,
I didn't
Rachel.
even touch it. I just all of a
Do I
sudden
need to start? Do I need to start including a little trailer at the beginning? Please silence your cell phones before.
The funny thing is my phone is on silent, so I'm not sure what just happened.
That's how I wonder how
So-
some people listen to our show. They just silence their phone before they play it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's depressing.
Instead of an
All
Amber
right.
Alert, we get a jingle alert. Okay.
Yeah,
Jingle alert.
Warning: Christmas incoming.
when Jeremy Swan, when you guys watch it, well, just want to hear you guys' opinions on it. I thought it was just like, I was just kind of like, I don't know. Personally, 15 minutes isn't enough. Like, you're just like,
Yeah.
what are you planning to accomplish in that amount of time? Because I don't really understand what they accomplished in that amount of time. I was just like, I just don't understand the point of this.
I see it like liquid television. Some of it's just to get you interested in what they're doing. That's it.
I'm
I'm trying to think. What are some of the other like Love and Robots or Love, Death and Robots? I think
Yeah,
like
it's
those
the same
anthology
studio.
series.
It's Blur
Yeah, 'cause
Studio.
I really enjoyed those, and I know they're like little windows into these worlds, just little stories they're doing. They're not meant to always, like, you might want them to expand out. And that one, I haven't seen it, but telling me it's connected to the game, it's just a little extra context, maybe. But I can understand you might want more from it and see where that goes. But
Well,
I need to watch it before I can really say.
The other
I'm
episode
just-
I missed. I was trying to remember them all. Was Armored Core with Keanu Reeves.
oh yeah,
I
that's
knew
in
he
there
was in
too.
one of them. Yeah.
I think there's another 6 episodes that are coming out a little bit later, though.
Yeah,
So I think it's like half and half.
because that's supposed to have Mega Man in it and stuff.
When are those supposed to come out? Like, we've got the 6 now, and then
I don't
we have
know.
no idea of the other 6.
2025.
I just know that it's 6 now, and I think it's 6 later. I think,
Yeah.
but
Well,
Yeah,
lastly, Chase, how you been enjoying your Xbox?
I haven't. Somebody else has. Shanoa has requisitioned my Xbox. She found out that Indiana Jones was on Game Pass, and it's gone. So somebody,
You'll get it back after she's done with that.
yeah, oh yeah. But
Whenever
yeah,
she's done with that.
she's been enjoying Indiana Jones. Actually, she's been playing it. She really likes it. So
I
it's
will be getting
a
it.
thumbs
I will
up.
be getting it when it comes out on the PS5 in spring of next year.
And then it'll be ready for Game of the Year.
It's a whole other discussion around that.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's it for me.
All right, Rachel, what about you? What have you been doing?
Well, we already talked about Infinity Nikki. I haven't gone very far in it, but it's very pretty, and it is at its heart a gacha game with a lot of windows and menus and
Right.
things hidden behind other buttons and that kind of thing. But really, if you just follow your little red blip notification things, you'll get by just fine. But it's got some good story. The English voice acting is solid. Like, I was like, damn, I'm actually kind of impressed that this is technically a free game. Wow.
That's what I was going to ask. Is this a free to play or a paid title? But I
No,
guess that answers
it's
my
free.
question. Okay.
It is free to play. And they're going to get their money from the people that want to spend all that extra money getting all of the pretty dresses. Do I like the pretty dresses? Yes. Do I have to have all of them? Absolutely not. So, but in between the bigger games that I'm playing, and like the games that I'm streaming and stuff like that, I had picked up Super Mario Odyssey when it was on sale on Woot, and it is just as fun as the first time that I played it, and it's been so many years since I first played it that I am coming across things and I go, I don't remember this.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier.
This.
There's so much in that game. You can go through
Yeah.
and beat it and not do everything, so you keep finding stuff.
The only things I remembered so far are the first level where you're in the town with all the hats, that boss battle, and then the boss battle in the next world where you possess the Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's literally all I remember is
the realistically
those things.
rendered T-Rex, which I always thought was hilarious.
Yeah, of so far. That is all I remember so far. Like, I remember bits and pieces of this game, but I'll be encountering like a little puzzle and I go, I don't remember that at all. Nope.
God, my favorite part of that game, just for the pure level of stupidity, is taking over a chunk of raw meat and hopping it over till you cook it.
Yeah.
Yep. I was like, what am I doing?
There's just so much little fun things in that game that I'm just really enjoying it. Like, I like having a platformer to play to kind of break up the heavy story games that I play,
right?
Or the cozy games that I play that have a lot of thought-provoking like things in it sometimes, because you're just like, oh man, I thought this was a cozy game, but that got dark, like that kind of thing. So I'm just enjoying it. And if those of you listening have never heard of Super Mario Odyssey, which I'd be shocked because it's been out for years, I highly recommend it, and definitely add that to your library because it's a quality game.
Would you say that is one of the required gets if you get a Switch? Like, you should
yes,
just get
absolutely.
it just hands down.
So that one, like, some people would say, get Breath of the Wild or get Tears of the Kingdom, like, make that a requirement too. But I'm like,
one of the two I think would be good.
And yeah. I'm like, that's like a secondary game title that you should get. Because a lot of people that buy Switches, I find they're wanting more of an introduction to gaming, where I always give people, because I actually had a friend ask me, like, I'm getting a Switch, what games should I get for my Switch? And I go, okay, do you know what type of games you want to play? And they're like, well, I haven't really played anything since I was a kid. And I'm like, well, what did you play when you were a kid? And a lot of times they say, I played on the N64. And I go, okay, get Mario Kart 8, get Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah. Well,
I know. I was like, my brain went, oh yeah, you played on the NES. You went N64, and I went, oh, that was high school.
Yeah. And so, and I said, okay, get Mario Kart 8, get Super Mario Odyssey, and then I name a few like other.
All right. Well, if you noticed a weird cut somewhere in there, the whole thing crashed. So we're not really starting over again. We're just going to jump into this and continue on. So the last thing we were talking about was pretty much, I think, Rachel with Mario Odyssey. So let's just go
do
from
the
there.
time warp again.
Let's do the time warp again. Exactly. No, I was talking about good games to get on Switch if you're getting a Switch for the first
Yes.
time. And I was saying Super Mario Odyssey was one of them. Mario Kart 8 is one of them.
Mhm.
And if you like platformers, I want to launch the Lop the Tasmanian Tiger games in there. And I'm like, because they're just good, they're simple, they're fun, they're not hard. And I'm all for
Someone stands the Tasmanian devil.
exactly. I do serve the Tasmanian Tiger actually.
Sorry, my bad.
But yeah, no, solid games for sure. Solid games.
I think I would add Animal Crossing to that one. I think that's a good Switch game to kind of just mess around with. And
if you like that kind of game, that's the thing. Like,
yeah,
if they don't have any idea what that type of game is, I'm not going to recommend it.
That's
But
Yeah, I would even say for them to, because I would always tell people this in the beginning, because even though you're going to get the most money off of games in terms of a store,
mhm.
I would still tell them to buy the membership because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would say you're going
100%.
to get access to
Yeah.
Nintendo 64
Yeah,
as well as
that's
other old games.
mhm,
And
that's-
I'll say, unlike other ones, you can play online with your friends. So if you ever wanted to play Mario Kart 64 with a
Mhm.
friend who owns the Switch and has the membership,
Yep.
you finally can relive those days. And he'll be like, "Hell yeah."
Exactly. And that's what I was going to recommend too. And I'm like, I
Touche.
always give 3 games to start. And then I say, get the membership. I know it's 20, however much it is a month, a year, $20, 25
not
bucks.
that much.
But,
$20 a year,
yeah, like $30 now. Okay. When it first came out, wasn't it like 25? Did I imagine that?
I think it was like 20 for an individual account. I pay like 70 something a year, but that's for the full like 8-member family
Yeah.
account with the N64 and all the
Same, and you
expansion
can
pack stuff.
share it with 7 other people anyway. So
Yeah.
Right.
So,
You're
but
just paying over one cost of a game a year for other systems to get all of that they put out all
and
year.
the value you get for it.
a lot for sure. And then I've been watching some TV like you guys, but the only thing I'm watching right now that's like actively like dropping new episodes, there's some other one, the Odyssey and that kind of stuff. And I said, but the one that I'm really I'm gonna get emotional over it because it's only got one more episode left of What We Do in the Shadows. I'm sad. I'm so sad.
It's such a good show.
It's so good.
I think we have one episode we haven't watched yet. Like we're pretty much caught up. So
yeah. Did you watch the one where they got accused of murdering the guy at the
the violent hug
with the violent like head squish. Yep, exactly.
Yes, that was great.
My favorite part was at the end when the Baron Afanas was like, "Do you have any questions?" And the guy raised his hand and he immediately got insta-killed. But then after the other guy next to him slowly puts his hand down, I'm over here freaking out because that's Alexander Skarsgård and he's literally wearing his Eric outfit. That's literally Eric, a Northman.
Amanda
on my
and I
right
lost it and we're laughing so hard from that. She's like, "Wait, what the hell?"
Oh yeah, well, it's for some context in the Vampire Council episode when they had the girl on there, and she played Sophie Anne Leclerc in the show True Blood, and they really wanted Alexander Skarsgård, and he really wanted to be on there too, but his schedule at the time just it wasn't having it, and he was actually really sad that he couldn't be on it. So the fact that they got him on it for the last season, even if it was just a few minutes. And he's quite literally Eric. I'm good. It's
and
great.
Everything but
It's
name
beautiful.
alone. Yeah, they did such a good job of just like getting references and cameos from other vampire projects. It's just the fact they got Wesley Snipes still kills me.
I literally was like, God, we got one more episode left. What other cameo could they have? And then they said, well, God, what if they did Brad Pitt? I'm like, he won't do it. Tom won't do it either. Neither of them will do it. And nobody wants them associated with Interview with the Vampire anymore. And they can't have Sam Reed and the people from the new show. So,
Right.
I don't know. My vote would be to completely like, this is not in left field, but I would say bring in one of the Volturi, Michael Sheen's character, for example, from Twilight. That would be funny as hell.
Well,
So
who was it that played? Was it Kirsten Dunst that was
Yeah.
the younger? If she showed up just to like an offhand, you look older. Just a joke.
Uh-huh. Oh, I mean, if anyone would do it, it might be her, but I don't know.
I
I
think she'd have
really
fun
don't
with it.
know. They got
That's the
what they
beauty.
got.
All of them having fun with it. That's the
Oh
best
yeah.
part.
Well, they got one more episode to do.
Mhm.
One more, and I'm probably gonna cry after, because that was one of the shows that was still like dropping new episodes
Mhm.
during when everything was closed, and I just was so it was so good, and I was enjoying it so much, and it's gonna be sad when it's gone. And then, of course, this last weekend and this weekend, I got one more day of it. I've been at the Ren Fair, guys. Are you surprised?
No.
It's Orlando Renaissance Fest. It's a smaller Ren Fair compared to other ones that I've been to. But it's about 30% larger this year than it was last year. And they've really like improved things. They've added more things. And I'm just really enjoying myself, just going and vibing and hanging out with my friends who have booths. And I got some cool things. I got literally everything on my list that I needed accessory wise for stuff that I was working on. And now I've, of course, started a new list for things that I'm going to put together and make for next year. But I won't be buying any more this year, obviously. So
how would you rate it? Good, fair?
fair. I'd say this one is a solid good.
It's a Ren good.
It's a Ren good.
Ren
So
good.
but I guess on to the meat of things, right?
Well, I don't get to
Jeremy
talk
has
about
meat some things.
No,
He sounds
Jeremy
wrong.
has some things. That's what
I
I'm
was like,
saying. The
I'm
meat
still
of things.
Jeremy has
We
some
gotta,
meat.
we gotta hear about Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. That's what I want to know about.
Hey, I don't read your list.
Listen. I've been waiting to hear your thoughts on
I
this.
kind of
For
like Indiana
like,
Jones a bit. It's my
yeah.
my old VHS collection. I've got the Blu-ray, the DVDs, all kinds of stuff.
I've been waiting to hear your thoughts on this for.
I have
for
one
quite
disappointment.
some time.
I have one disappointment, and that is I have not got the hat from you yet because I wanted to wear that damn hat while playing this game because this is the best fucking Indiana Jones thing I've ever played.
Listen, I've been busy. Okay,
I know.
So
I
it will get to you eventually.
So, kind of behind the scenes for the show, I have not mentally been in the best place for stuff recently, and the other day I was sitting here and I had Steam open, and of course, Indiana Jones didn't come out till the 9th, and this was like on the 5th, I think. And I'm sitting here, and all of a sudden it just pops up play on Steam, and I went, "What the hell? That can't be right." And I clicked on it, and it loaded, and I was off to the races. And immediately you were in, the first Indiana Jones movie, going in to find the golden idol and running from the boulder.
Shot for shot, too.
I watched a video on that, how shot for shot it was, and I was like, oh man, some stuff actually looks better. Obviously,
It really, I thought it was funny. Like that scene was such a good way to kind of teach you about Indiana Jones, everything he does, what kind of person he is, and all of that.
And teaches you how to play the game too.
And it became a perfect tutorial level for the actual game. And I was like, oh my God, that's fantastic.
The only thing it was missing was a veiled reference to the Indiana Jones show at Hollywood Studios, where you actually get run over by a giant boulder.
You kind of did. He gets run over at the end because it turns out it's a dream. I mean, we're not really spoiling it. It's the very beginning of the game, but you do kind of get run over by it. So who knows?
Hey, maybe it is a veiled reference.
Yeah. So I have been just exploring this game and loving every minute of it. Troy Baker is doing the voice of Indiana Jones, and he nailed it. I will forget it is not Harrison Ford doing the voice sometimes because it just sounds right. Every time I hear him talk, his, sarcasm, the tone of voice and things like that, perfect.
There was some funny backstory to that because I have an interview with Troy Baker where Todd Howard did not want him to be Indiana Jones.
Really?
Really?
He didn't really think he could do it either, but he's like, once he heard his audition, he was like, okay, fine, he can be in it.
Troy over here, like, hold my beer.
I also appreciated the fact that they, in terms of gameplay, is that they made it impossible to hurt the dogs.
Yes.
I love that.
You can either scare them with the whip, but if you try to shoot them, he will just check his ammo. So I was like, that's a good touch.
Indy would never hurt a dog, ever.
Yeah, that's what he's named after. Indiana was the dog.
So the fact that the voice is that good, I always thought that, eventually we would stop getting Indiana Jones movies. I knew that was just a fact of life. But if it was to be continued in any way, I was like, it's going to be games or it's going to be an animated series. And guess what? Troy can do both. Hey.
Yeah. I mean, even just a radio drama would be fitting given the time for some of the older adventures, But
rest in peace, Tony Todd, his last game.
Yep. And he did a great job in it from what I've seen of him so far. Because boy, he's a big boy in that one. But I've explored a couple different environments so far. You've got the prequel part, you've got the college, the Vatican, and I'm over in Egypt right now. But there's so many different places around the world it's going to eventually go to. But just a love letter to all of Indiana Jones. Like, I'm enjoying the crap out of every bit of it. All the voice acting, not just Troy Baker's with Indiana Jones, but everybody's voice acting fits so well. I love the mechanics of, like, I've only fired my gun, I think, twice, because I was like, all right, I'm just going to at least try it. But it's all just punching people, which in this day and age, it is so just soothing to just punch the living shit out of fascists and Nazis. And then I've made a little mini game out of it that every time I do that, I will then take their body and try and dump it in some awkward way or place just to desecrate them in some way, because it just feels right. And I need to start taking screenshots of them because they've been hilarious. And I've gotten a few achievements for hitting people with different things. Like, I beat a guy with a guitar. I beat a guy with a violin. I slapped a dude with a fly swatter. That was an achievement.
Oh, I love that. So how linear is this game? Is it, like, pretty linear?
Not at all.
I love that so much. I'm delighted. I can't wait to play it in spring of 2025. Please don't spoil a damn thing for me.
So here's the entire game.
His last name is Joan.
Oh, hush.
Well, the beauty is, even if I told you what I was doing, what you do can be different. Like, the story beats are the same. I'm not going to ruin that, but you can decide at any time. There's a bunch of different like side quests you can do that he'll keep a log in his book. And I love the fact, like, all the maps are physical books. They're not on-screen displays and things like that. It's all in the world. And I'm just wandering around these areas because I'll find a tomb or I'll find some mystery and start going through it. And you can change clothes and have disguises. And there's just so many, that's all classic Indiana Jones. Cause I saw that
there's so much like there's some collectus stuff that goes on, as part of little side quest things. And
there are, but in a good way.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, in the way Indy would do it, which is what's important.
And there's a lot of photography, so I'm here for that. You can actually use the photography as a hint system too. Like, you'll take a picture of something to get adventure points, which you use to open up books that you find that give you different abilities. My favorite being Indy's lucky hat. I recommend buying that early. It's not that expensive, but if you get knocked down or killed, it'll kind of go black and white. You can crawl and you'll see his hat on the floor. You crawl over to it. He'll dust it off, put it back on. It's like him getting back up to continue. And you've got like one hit left, but you can kind of fight your way back through stuff again. And I've actually turned fights around with that, where I got too many people, got back up, and then won the fight. So,
I just hope there's an achievement where you can throw somebody out of a plane and say no ticket.
That would be great. There is an achievement for kicking someone in the butt and knocking them off a cliff. I did that. I've thrown a Nazi off a cliff. I'm trying to see if I can find a way to drop one in front of a train. If I can get to the train, I'll see if I can do it. It's still, I know this game has come out late in this year. This game, it's almost, if it would be considered, I would almost give it Game of the Year, because I am just so happy to play this and enjoying it so much. It's kind of, that's a different discussion we weren't going to have, but we'll go into it. But this is a phenomenal game. It's a love letter to all things Indiana Jones. I am the Indiana Jones fans that I have enjoyed all of them, including, Crystal Skull and stuff like that, because yes, they were not what everyone expected, but it was realistic that Indy was getting older and they were dealing with what the sci-fi or whatever was during those time periods. So in the 50s, it was aliens. During the 60s and 70s, you were dealing with the things that they were dealing with. And I like the fact that it's showing he's aging. He's not just some immortal guy running around. So I appreciated it on that thing, but go ahead.
Better watch out, Balatro. This is the best indie game now.
In the last one, the last movie, I legit thought that he was gonna stay in the past, and that you would see like pictures and drawings and like stuff of him throughout history. Like that's literally I was like, oh man, are they gonna go this meta where
it would have been funnier if he had stayed in the past and then a different archaeologist later found him.
that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm like, are
Show
they gonna
him
go
ending up in a museum?
Yeah, I'm like, are they gonna go this meta? And they did not, obviously.
No.
As soon as I thought of it, and then I saw that they weren't gonna do it, I was immediately disappointed. But it was fine.
I appreciate it for what it was. Like I grew up watching Young Indiana Jones. I loved all of the movies.
I love them too.
Those and enjoying them. I've played the games over the years. This is hands down the best Indiana Jones experience I think they've ever done. And I'm glad that it's not an Uncharted or Tomb Raider ripoff. Like,
that was what I was
definitely its
worried
own
about
thing.
too. Like, I was worried about that, so I'm glad to hear that it's not. Because the last Indiana Jones game that I played that I actually enjoyed was the LucasArts point-and-click adventure game, which is the only one I will play because all the other ones that I've looked at, I'm like, I don't like that. I don't know why I don't like that.
Atlantis one, I think.
Atlantis, and then there's another one too.
Atlantis.
Yeah,
the other one, The Last Crusade.
Yep, those two are good. I like those.
I will still say my favorite movie of all of them is still The Last Crusade. That is the one that if I had to go back and watch one of them, that's my thing. Yeah. So I cannot give high enough praise for this game. That's just how I feel about it. It is more than I hoped it would be on every way. So next up, I'm still playing through Mario & Luigi Brothership, which I've been enjoying. It's feeling like it's getting kind of long in the tooth, but I just had a nice little twist pop up with a different set of enemies and things. So it's kind of getting funny on that new way.
I had a video come up on my YouTube as a recommendation, and there was somebody talking about how they didn't like it, and I was like, I wonder why. And their reason was that Nintendo is very big and very successful with couch co-op, and they felt that where it's a game about two brothers, working together, that why is this not a 2-player couch co-op game? And I was like, that is actually a good thought. I get why it's not, but that is a good thought.
That'd be kind of a weird one given the whole series, because that's never been a thing with that series.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be you controlling them in different rhythms and stuff, and that would drive me mad if that was the case.
I would just download the game Brothers and put a mod for Mario Brothers in it.
There you go.
Yeah. But this was also one of those like big cozy game YouTubers.
Yeah.
So they were probably doing it for clicks. So
yeah, I mean, you could technically say that for any RPG whatsoever. Why isn't, whatever Final Fantasy a multiplayer game? Someone can control the other character.
Well, my answer to that is not everything has to be multiplayer, you dingoes. So
yeah, there's somebody I know who thinks Tomb Raider was too long of a game, so they didn't like it.
Wow.
People.
Yeah. And then lastly, I've been playing Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Complete, which is pretty much the only cell phone game I've been playing in a while.
What?
I paid the $10 and I've been kind of messing around with it, and it's fun. It's not the most involved game in the world. I did immediately go and find where the DSLR was. So my little guy's running around with a camera because I need to have one. I can't use it, but at least it kind of looks like my camera that I use. And then I found a bunch of video game themed stuff that I'm trying to get a hold of. You have to get these weird raffle tickets for it, but I don't know. Yeah, it's $10. I have the game and I get to play around with it, and I think I've gotten $10 worth out of it. So I'm still picking it up and playing it. So who knows? Maybe I'll keep going. But I've expanded my little car, my RV. I think like once or twice. It makes it a little bit bigger, but I don't. You're not going to have a house size like to decorate. It's definitely not going to be that. And I'm trying to expand my campground to see if I can do more stuff there. But,
You can definitely make that place huge.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. So, all right. Well, we will go ahead and jump into our news today because we've kind of only got 2 main topics to discuss. So let's jump into it. All right. So first off, we're going to get this out of the way, but we've had some weird Nintendo Switch 2 rumors, which have been more than just rumors, kind of leaks almost, not quite verified, but much more reliable than some of the previous ones we've seen. So a lot of these come from third-party hardware accessory makers, which have come from, like, first off, potential leak of the design showing up a Switch 2 silicone case that featured a really detailed render of the system, which showed off the features of 2 USB-C ports, which would be nice. That's something my Legion Go has that I really like, that I wish the Steam Deck did. It's got the top one, but I kind of wish I had a bottom one for docking. New Joy-Con release system, which we were wondering if was like I was hoping it was like a side button, but I guess that's the release. Larger screen size, the cooling vent placement, the new mystery button on the right Joy-Con that's underneath the home button that's listed as a C button, which I don't think it's going to be a functional, like, game-wise
We will
button.
see what it does.
I love some of the speculation, though. It's been hilarious. Some people are thinking like it's a new capture mode. That way each controller would have a capture button, which would be the most simplest of uses. But you think it'd still be a camera. It wouldn't be a C. A communication button, which is the one I hope for the most, where you can maybe bring up a voice chat or, probably knowing Nintendo, some weird text chat that connects to a cell phone or some bullshit like that.
I hope they take out the primitive stuff that are in the Joy-Cons and put in what the Wiimotes have instead, though.
Oh, for the motion?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be very nice.
Make House of the Dead playable.
No kidding. I was so disappointed in that game. I wanted it to be so good, and it was just no. The next one is from a company we've talked about before called Dbrand, which they're kind of notorious for being antagonistic towards the companies that they make stuff for, which seems like a very weird business decision. It's like, we're going to make accessory for your system, but we're going to screw you over, lie about your stuff, and argue with you. And somehow that makes us money. They released their render of what they called the Switch 3 Kill Switch. Or Switch 2. Sorry, I don't know why it says Switch 3. I guess I mistyped. 2.
Future.
Yeah, it's a future one. They're leaking so far in advance it's the next console. It closely outlines the hardware with a partially translucent design, which shows what's inside of it. And people were wondering if this was just speculation or on there. But their CEO, Adam Eaz, actually admitted that the hardware shown is from their direct scans of the actual hardware that they got to see. And I'm really wondering, like, these companies that are just leaking this stuff out, are they going to face any consequences from Nintendo?
When does the NDA start?
Yeah, when does the NDA start? Do they have, like, could they potentially lose their official license?
So, like, in my mind, unless there's an official, like, patent yet on it, like anything with anyone's name on it, and there's no NDA and there's no anything like that,
right?
There isn't really any legal recourse for it yet, because there's nothing in writing other than agreement between, well, companies. And the consequence of that is that they're just going to lose future projects with Nintendo. And
they will debrand from Dbrand.
Yeah, that is that is.
I didn't think legally they can go after him, but it does seem like you're kind of, you don't shit where you eat. Like, you don't.
Yeah.
It's basically, you're going to get put on the map if you give us any breadcrumbs at this point. So,
yeah, and I think that's what they're trying to run with. But I don't know. I know people are looking at the design of the Switch 2 and they're like, oh, it's disappointing because it's not some crazy difference. And I'm like, did we really expect it to be that different? Like,
Gestures,
it's going to be
gestures vaguely to the 3DS, 2DS situation. Gestures
That's not
vaguely.
even a new system. It's like
Yeah.
looking DS to 3DS.
Yeah, just exactly.
Yeah.
Gestures vaguely to DS to DSi to 3DS. Like there's still there's not that much difference. It's the same
Wii to
shape.
Wii U. Oh wait, no, that wasn't good.
That-
That was not a great decision, guys. And that's kind of what worries me. Like it does look so similar. This is going to cause so much confusion with people trying to buy it.
We'll call it the Switch U. Like
Yeah,
you
even if they
will
call it
quit.
the Switch 2, people are going to think it's just like another version of like the OLED or something. Like it's
right. And I have the OLED, so I still have
You know
my
what?
original Switch that I need to do something with, but I haven't done anything with it.
I gave my original one to one of our kids' friends so they could have a Switch.
Well, it can't be as confusing as Xbox One X and Xbox Series X and Xbox One S and Xbox S and Xbox Series S. So we'll see how it goes.
Touche. Okay,
Yes.
touche on that one. I don't know. Like I like some of the stuff. Like I hope the 2 USB-C ports are there. That makes sense because then you could use it to dock it naturally, but still be able to charge from the top if you're playing at tabletop. Maybe you can use it for accessories or a headset or something like that. You know,
At this point, I don't even care if it's got only Lightning cable support. Just give us the ability to download Discord on it. Thank you.
Yes, Discord on the Switch 2 would be.
Even if it's limited just to Discord chat, I want to be able to talk to somebody while playing Mario Kart while I blow them out of the water, but or play them in Tetris while they complain that I'm beating their ass. Anyway,
Fair enough. All right, so we'll jump into what I would consider the meat of this episode.
wrap it up.
Sorry, my bad. Wrapping it up. All right,
Starts
let's
playing
go on.
music.
Yeah, let's go into the Game Awards. All right, so the Game Awards 2024 happened just the other night, and just like the show itself, we're going to mostly ignore the awards they gave out or move past them really quickly and talk about what was announced, like some kind of advertising E3 brought to you by Doritos. Which I find it funny. We don't really see ads for Doritos and Mountain Dew anymore after those first few years, but boy,
they sell themselves.
Yeah, they sure want me to buy a lot of laptops and shit this year, I've noticed. All right, so we're going to talk about some of the announcements that we've got. And the first one I wanted to talk about, unless you guys have any other ones, is The Witcher 4 was finally shown by CD Projekt Red. And one thing I thought was kind of cool when they started the trailer, which was a 6-minute trailer, a very good one, by the way. It doesn't feel like 6 minutes. And every time I watch it, I'm enthralled with the whole thing. But at the very beginning, it actually pops up saying that this was running on unannounced NVIDIA hardware. So this might be like a little glimpse at the 50 series, graphics cards for
Switch
next year. Yeah, Switch 200 maybe.
Another fun fact that I heard is that though this is like a, pre-rendered, all that kind of thing, the character models that were used in the pre-rendering are actual models from the game. So
I thought it was an engine for part of it. I didn't know it was a pre-render, but either
just
way,
the
it looks
just the character models, just like
Yeah.
models of the some of the townspeople. I think Ciri herself. They didn't name who exactly, but they just said some of the in-game like character models were used in that pre-rendered thing.
Well, they look pretty consistent, so I would believe any of them, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
just given their quality of work and what they've shown. But yes, you did lead to the other thing that this time you are playing as Ciri, not Geralt, which suck it, haters. Because good God, why are you thumbs downing it? No, Chase needs to explain this. Why are you thumbs downing it?
Because I have a comment here.
Because
Chase,
in a day and age where we have like all these RPGs and stuff, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's fine if this is the vision that they have for it, but I feel like why don't we have our own, like, why can't we just make our own Witcher at this point?
Because that's part of the story. That is what this whole thing is led up to. Even when you finish Witcher 3 and all of that, Geralt retires, Ciri has been trained and raised to take over and do this. It makes sense. Go ahead, Steven.
Well, they already confirmed that Geralt will be in 4. So in what capacity, we won't know, but everybody will still be there. There's gangs all here, people.
Yeah.
He even talks during the trailer.
Yeah, he'll be in flashbacks, or he'll be present, or he'll
we don't even know if it's just going to be her. It might be one of those back and forth, maybe dual destiny type stuff.
I don't think so.
I think the voice actor for Geralt said he wasn't going to really be a focus.
No, it's either he's either an NPC that you talk to, or you run into him a couple of times, or
He'll probably be back
whatever.
at the keep, or whatever, like
Yeah.
Visiri was, and
But
you can go back and talk to these people and deal with
I
that.
will. I get wanting to create your own Witcher. I understand that. There are people out there that are ticked off that it's Ciri instead of playing Geralt again. And I said, if you're ticked off about that, you have missed the entire point of the game series and of the books and everything, because that's who it's all about. Is Ciri getting trained up? That's
Led
it.
to this. Like, it was leading to
Led
this the whole time.
exactly. So the whole point of the story. And yeah, so I'm just like, oh, you don't want to play as a girl. So
Think about it this way, Chase. That same argument could be like used against Warhammer that we just played. Like, oh, we're playing the story and we're using this character who's part of the story. Why do we use him? Why can't I just make my own guy? Which I know they
That's
have other modes, but that's still, you're going to say that's part of the story.
Chase,
And that's the same
2025 is
thing.
going to be
it's a bit different though.
2025 is going to be the year of testing them doing it with female protagonists. They're doing it with Ghosts, and they're doing it with Witcher.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
that's
a new
fine.
thing, though.
That's
We'll see if it pans out.
They're all digital people, guys. Come on.
It's not going to.
That's fine. Well, my point is though is that like Warhammer 40K is a game that it's a very linear game. It's not an RPG of any sort. It's just a linear experience. And on top of that, it's not like with RPGs nowadays where they're open world and you can make like your own, like, in Dragon Age, for instance, you can make a Canary mage, like
I guess
it's a completely different,
Yeah.
to me, it's two completely different games. So you can't say like, why does a Warhammer let you choose? You have a mode where you can make your own chapter if you want. So it gives you that option.
Yeah. I guess from CG Project Red's standpoint, like maybe because they are, in a way, they are kind of pigeonholed, like shoehorned into using the books as a base, right? So
Right.
they what they can do to some extent is kind of limited. And but who knows? Maybe what's next is a create your own Witcher story where it's in this universe, but it's well into the future. Like,
Right.
who really knows? But
Because we're
I'm
still
not-
continuing an existing story. We're not just
Yeah.
turning it off. It's not like, Cyberpunk, where it was a new story, a new world that was just based off a mechanic. This is an actual book series that have these
Hopefully, the
characters.
statue looks better than it did in 3.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
That's a
at
weird
the end of the
second.
day, it's just my opinion. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'll probably still play
I
the
know.
damn game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I'm not touching the series at all. It's way too
Yeah.
complicated for me, so I hate
But
it.
I
that
do get your
actually-
disappointment. So
Actually, to be fair, because I played 2 and I couldn't even get past the tutorial in 2, so I don't know if
Yeah,
Which-
I barely
which
got
one
past
and
tutorial
two-
in 3, and I did traps and poisoning swords, and I was just like, yeah, no, I'm going back to Dragon Age thing.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed 2. I got to these swamps outside of a village, and I
Mhm.
got stuck because I ran out of healing items, and there was nothing in the swamp that I could use to craft healing items. So I was just stuck, and I hadn't saved for a while until I got to the entrance of the swamp. And then I just was stuck with whatever, like 12 potions or whatever that I
Yeah.
had, and I had to restart the whole thing. So
Yeah, 1 and 2, that was back like during the Xbox 360, just to kind of age everything. Like, that's been a while. Their mechanics were still early. They really did kind of reset how that functioned. A lot of games took after it once they did Witcher 3, which is when I dove into it. I played that thing on I had an Xbox One, Series X, PC, a couple different times on PC because I got it on GOG and Steam. I got it on Switch, played it on that. Like, I've just really enjoyed exploring these worlds. And they let you choose what you're doing as you go through them, but they're still based on whatever character you're playing, is how that relationship goes and as time goes. So I'm kind of still glad they're sticking to a person. It's going to be tied around Ciri and her expectation of moving on, and how the world still treats Witchers, as you kind of see from the trailer, where some of them are still assholes.
I'll just keep playing him in Soul Calibur 6.
That's fine. like I said, not every game has to be for everybody. I'm super excited about this one. I was really
the next
happy to
game
see
is
where it's going.
1,000% not for me. In
I'm
fact, I'm anti this next game.
I'm very curious as to why. I'm curious on this one myself. So
I have
moving to
some
the next title.
thoughts.
Yeah, this one's Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, which is from Naughty Dog. This is a new IP from them. This is based on an alternate 1986 is when this takes place, which is, yeah, I had to go back and reread that, but that's why.
I mean, they were into space a lot in 1986 with media and movies and all of that kind of thing. But
it
go
also
on.
explains the ship being a Porsche 924 Tempest NDX, which is like a future Porsche type thing. Her shoes are Adidas.
Yep.
There's a Sony CD player with CDs from the 80s, which I thought was at least interesting. Which I mean,
thought that was cool.
It's a nice visual, but it's very much trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy with a tape deck is what they're trying to do. They're just trying to use the Sony CD player because it's a Sony studio to do that, even though they did use kind of a Walkman in that one too. But given, the main character is a character named Jordan, who is being played by Tati Gabrielle. Seems to be hunting down members of her previous team for whatever the story reason is. The first of these bounties they showed was Kamal Ali Nanjiani, who I always find absolutely hilarious.
Yes, he's a funny guy.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that goes. This game might have more corporate sponsorships than the Game Awards did.
It might have more corporate sponsorships than Final Fantasy 15 did. And you know how many corporate sponsorships that game had.
That was mostly Cup of Noodles, right?
Cup of Noodles, American Express.
The car they drove?
Rolls Royce.
Mm-hmm.
Audi.
They had a couple of music bands, didn't they?
You name it. It was in there. There was at least 6 different companies that had stuff in there. So the reason why I don't care, I like all of the old Sony stuff and the the 80s vibes. That I think is cool as hell. But this is gonna sound terrible. I just I want them to bring back Jack and Dexter. I don't care about this.
I don't really agree with that though, because shoehorning them into making the same thing over and over again, I can see why they.
No,
this is only the 4th IP they've done out of all these years.
I just want them to revisit it briefly, just with something. I don't know, do a rematch, like a proper like do something with it.
Don't say a remaster around them.
Yeah, I just want them to do something with it. Like I just want them to assign some people to work on this every now and then just kind of blah. That's me, and I love platformy stuff. And
I mean,
I don't like Jordan's character design. It bothers me.
The game bothers me.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we don't know much about this game. They've been working on it for the last 4 years, but we've only got this teaser trailer.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, even Indiana Jones, everyone was like, I know how I feel about this before it came out. And now we're loving it.
Well, here's the thing. I have no question in my mind that this will be a good game. No doubt in my mind. It's going to be a good game. Naughty Dog makes good shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know they do. I just don't like it. Space vibes. I don't know what it is. Me and space games just don't get on. Are you clipping that audio?
No, I'm looking up some other stuff real quick. So, Steven, go ahead with yours.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to put on my hot take hat here.
Oh, boy.
You just don't like it?
So, good job, Naughty Dog, coming out with The Space of Us, where we're probably going to be sneaking around a spaceship, shooting things that instead of looking like flowers, just look like knockoffs of aliens.
They showed part of the mechanics that had nothing to do with that, though. Like, that's kind of an assumption of saying that.
I know they're going to be on a planet and there's a sword.
It seems like they're spending a lot of money on their cast, and I'll probably wait until they make a remastered remake of part 1 of this game. Because it'll be a while, and I'll wait for the multiplayer to be canceled. Because I feel that Naughty Dog is becoming Platinum Games, where they don't know how to use a new engine on anything. So we'll see.
I mean, I'm interested in the game because it is seeing something new, and we still have to wait and see what it's actually going to be. We're only just now finding out about it. It seems like you guys have kind of already made your decision that it's garbage, and I'm like,
no, I'm not saying it's garbage.
Kind of weird.
I just don't like it because I have a firm belief that they were. I mean, they did a lot with The Last of Us. Like, how many times did that game come out on multiple different consoles? It was beginning to feel like
you were just asking for them to do a remake. You can't really judge them.
No, I'm not asking them.
Wait. You can't really judge them on doing another remake that paid for them developing something new.
So
while you're asking for a remake,
I'm not necessarily asking for the remake. I'm asking for a revisit. Like the last game that came out on that was what, Last Frontier or whatever, and that thing was garbage because they didn't even really do it. It was somebody else,
right?
So I feel that if they want to,
that's not up to them at that point. That's Sony's decision because they own them now.
That's I get that. So I'm like, hey, Sony, can we wrap this up in a better way than whatever the hell that was?
Because they can monkey paw the hell out of it. Be like, well, I want one of these, and they can have a completely different team make it because they can just take the IP and put it where they want to. So it's not always going to be the same people.
Oh, I know. I don't like space games.
I think this game has the unfortunate release time of coming where we just got out of zombie fatigue and now we're getting into space fatigue.
We don't have any.
We've got Starfield, we've got Fort Solace, we got Dead Space remake. Now we're getting Intergalactic. We have
and there's going to be an Outer Worlds. There's going to be an Outer Worlds 2.
We have Outer Worlds 2. We have Destiny 2. We have Faster Than Light. It's like we're getting a lot of space. A lot. Mm-hmm. So I think
a lot of those are very different games. Just because they take place in space
doesn't matter.
I mean, that's like saying Warhammer's bad because it takes place in space. Like it's technically you're still.
We're not saying it's bad. That's the thing. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a lot of space.
Get grouped into that.
Yeah. So that Stephen has a point. I think this is one of the few things that you and I agree on, Stephen. It's the fatigue. Like I think there's still zombie fatigue. Every time I see zombies, I'm like, oh God,
I just bought another zombie game today. I actually got the remaster of Dead Rising, which is funny.
Those are the two genres. So here's the thing. I like space movies. I don't like space games. I don't like zombie movies unless they're a comedy. And I also don't like zombie games.
See, I love zombie movies. I love zombie games. I enjoy space ones.
I'll give it to them if they can get me interested. But if it's another thing where they're just trying to do shock value and then make you cry because Kamali goes outside the airlock and dies, then it's like, okay, let's move on. This is just the space of us. But I was like, please show us, Naughty Dog, that you're not doing just episodes of HBO again.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very early showing of this game. Like, we don't know when it's coming out. There was no date given or any hints of that. It's just like for the, Uncharted or The Last of Us, we were seeing early previews of it before we actually got the games themselves and kind of see where those go. I'm kind of curious. So Chase, you've never liked any of the games they've done? The Last of Us, the Uncharted, any of those? Or
didn't like Last of Us. Liked Uncharted.
Okay. I like Uncharted,
but
I do too.
I like Jak and Daxter. Mm-hmm. I like old Naughty Dog, but I don't like Artur Naughty Dog. Like, they can go fuck themselves. Like, what they turned into is just like
I will say I also love old Naughty Dog. I like it's when they started, modern art and post-contemporary literature.
That's what I mean. They went to like this. Yeah. They tried to be like an Artur. They tried to make all these games like have like try to make it where all their games have like shock value, like what Swan said. Like, I don't need that. I don't care. Just make a good game.
Whenever I watch a State of Decay from Sony, I always lament the fact I was like, show me something that's not dark, but then also and moody, but don't show me anything that's just going to be, like you just said, like artistic. I'm like, I've got enough of those. I've got enough of those throughout the year. I was just like, show me something new. I was just like, yeah, all Nintendo games are bright and colorful, but at least they're changing it up.
I still don't see exactly. It's just kind of weird. Like, you're saying that like Last of Us and stuff like that, are calling them artistic or so forth. Like they were groundbreaking for a lot of the stuff they did that people were not doing. People have copied that, and yes, they've been re-released and so forth. I get that. But the games themselves are still really good for their storytelling and so forth, because that's what they were going into it for those worlds to explore and to kind of build up for. And yeah, they're going to be emotional heartstrings. They're not comedies. Like they don't make them to be comedies. We're not watching Looney Tunes.
And I'm not
they are
faulting,
meant to be dramas. And that's
I'm not faulting The Last of Us at all, but they rode The Last of Us.
No, I agree.
For the last like half a decade.
But is that on them or is that on Sony?
That's on them.
Because they are still beholden to what Sony tells them to do.
Because as soon as we got excited about Last of Us multiplayer, they were like, nah.
I was never excited. I was never excited about that. Yeah, that was Bungie's fault for kind of killing that and lying about a bunch of stuff. That was also, I still think that's on the foot of Sony, because they were the ones pushing for so many different, games as a service or live at games, all those things. That was the beholden to that part.
There are just certain games that I don't like.
Sorry, someone's alarm is going off.
So, like
Naughty Dog, like new Naughty Dog games and games with mechs. There we go.
I love mechs. Every time we go into Helldivers, I bring a mech. I like my mechs, and it saved our ass a couple of times.
It's not a mech; it's an Ed219.
So what you're saying is, Swan, is you're not jumping in on the early access of Steel Hunters or whatever that game
Steel
was.
Hunters or Mecha Break? No. And I already told Chris what would make Mecha Break actually like a successful game, but they're not going to do it.
We are a Mecha Assault.
They just took out the mecha and just had Break.
They already have that.
Yeah.
But no, I said if they went out of their way to actually get proper licensing, so instead of making like Nungum, make actual Gundams.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of making like Tolvron, make Voltron. Like, ask the other companies if they can get the rights to Zone of the Enders or what's that other game that came out for Switch? Crap. Daemon Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Like there's so much you could do with mechs, but instead you're gonna have all these knockoffs, and you're gonna just hope that the very light show is gonna save your free to play game.
Yeah.
So, but they showed that off again, and I was just like, okay, I'll buy that before I buy Intergalactic Planetary of Us, whatever.
God damn it. I'm hopeful to see what it becomes. I kind of like the idea of possibly, how involved they can get with a bounty hunter and stuff like that, which made me think very much Metroid type stuff, because that's what Samus is, a bounty hunter.
Or Prey, or Star Wars Outlaws.
I mean, a lot of space games are based, technically, even Star Wars was, on Westerns and stuff like that. So bounty hunters or rangers and so forth is kind of a main thing. It happens a lot.
Intergalactic can give us some Spaceballs DLC. I'll give them a chance.
It's in the 80s. It could do it.
Hey, there you go.
Oh God. All right, let's move on to the next one before we kill each other here. All right.
We wouldn't kill each other. I don't know what you're talking about. No death here. None at all. Nothing. I was going to say, actually, the only two space games I've liked recently was Starlink and still No Man's Sky, but I only play that on occasion. But Starlink was fun.
All right, let me ask you guys this then real quick. Like you're calling these space games and so forth, but like one of the ones you used as an example was Outer Worlds, which you don't play in space. You just travel between planets. Outer Wilds. So I'm like, what point is that? How is that different than like Outer Worlds? Yeah, you don't normally play in space. There's like a few scenes, but you're on planets every time. And you just travel planet to planet.
Right. So
how is it any different from traveling city to city in a map?
I don't lump Outer Worlds into the same thing.
I only bring it up because y'all brought it up.
I just brought it up because it's a space game, but no, it is a space game, but it's not the same type of space game. It's different. The reason why it's different, and this is the only reason why it's different, is because it's Fallout. It's the vibes and the comedy and the style and the general of everything. Fallout meets BioShock in space. That's Outer Worlds, and that's what makes that game different.
Is Borderlands a space game if you're not in space? If you're just going from planet to planet and you're on... Because it's the same thing. You have the same fast travel between planets. and it's still.
We'll get to my opinions on that one.
We have very weird opinions on these things. I just thought it was funny. All right, moving on.
Know, Jeremy, I think when they say space, I wonder if they're actually meaning sci-fi, just in general.
They're probably meaning the amount of gigs it's going to take up.
Yeah, that too.
All right, with that, we're moving on. I've run out of memory on that one. All right. So, Okami. We're getting it. It literally just called Okami sequel, which I'm just going to be the one here and saying I'm not happy about it. It's not an original idea. I'm just kidding. I'm fucking excited as hell. I just wanted to be facetious and pissy. So we got Hideki Kamiya coming back as game director, which is great, with a newly formed Clovers Inc., because they couldn't be Clover Studio, which we only have
on TNO4. Let's go.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's called Clovers, but there's only a few people left from it because all of Clover Studios went to become Platinum. So it's like you're using the name, but not everyone's there.
They can get Shinji Mikami left back. He went to like Tencent or something anyway.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the only developers, though. This is also being made along with M2 Inc. and Machine Head Works Inc. that are making it.
There was the original Okami, and then there was an Okami on the DS, which was a sequel, right?
Your puppy, yeah, Okami Den.
Yeah, and so technically, this is the third game in the series.
Yeah, because Okami Den was a prequel because you're a puppy, and then this is Okami 2. Yes.
Okay.
Well, Okami Den wasn't you were a puppy, but you were not the same dog.
Were you that other dog's child?
Yeah. Amanda loved that one. Holy crap, she played the hell out of that game. That was one of the ones that for some reason clicked with her. She does not play that many games, but when they click,
I'm still mad I didn't get the plush when it was on the Capcom store.
Oh, I never got that either. That sucks.
They had the puppy plush. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I am still the guy that I prefer the Wii version over the other ones because I thought the motion control worked really well with the paintbrush, and that's how I prefer to play it.
Now you VR.
You and your motion controls.
It worked bad. You were using a fucking pen. You were doing that to write on it. I hated using an analog stick. It felt stupid to me. I was like, just do the motion. It worked great.
We can pet the dog.
Yeah.
As long as we can pet the dog, it will be a successful game.
We're all just full of hot takes with each other tonight.
Oh, that's going to be the theme throughout this whole thing right now.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got hot takes for days ready for you as soon as we get to those games.
Listen.
I love you guys.
The Game Awards itself is a hot take. And we'll get into that.
We're going to talk about that too.
We'll get into that with the big question, won't we?
Okay, yes. Let me preface something with the Game Awards really quick. As corporate driven and kind of facetious and just all around ridiculous the Game Awards is, it's pretty much the only thing other than Summer Game Fest, which I don't count, that people can get together with some snacks and just watch with their friends and just talk about it afterwards or talk during it, or
I wanted to talk during it, but I couldn't get you on there.
And it's a grand old time to have, so at least appreciate that because there's no more presentations and Nintendo Directs are way too early to get a bunch of people together.
Correct.
So.
Now,
or in the middle of my workday.
Well, yeah, the only other things that do that is the Nintendo Directs or the PlayStation, whatever it's called, or the Xbox, whatever it's called. And when they do their big announcement things, when they, because they have those, it's almost like a Nintendo Direct, but they have their own little.
But yeah, as ridiculous as this was, it was nice to see the trailers, and it was very nice to be surprised a few times. They said there was going to be 2 OSHA announcements, and I did say those words twice.
Yep, I did.
In what term is what I want to know?
I actually did not watch the Game Awards because I was at Board Game Night the night that it was going on. I had completely forgot that it was airing.
Having a social life.
Listen, I learned to play 2 new board and card games that night, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
There you go.
But I did watch the Indie Game Awards kind of like follow-up thing. It was called Wholesome, like the Wholesome Games version of it, where it has a bunch of indie games. Yeah, it was called Wholesome Snack. It was either just before or after the Game Awards. I don't remember.
There was a lot leading up to the Game Awards. There was even like, this is not the Game Awards Direct or something like that. It was really weird. Yeah.
But it was really...
That's how we found indie games were getting sequels and stuff, so that was nice.
It was cool because it was all indie cozy games, like all of it. And it showed new stuff from all of the cute games that are in development, and that's what I watched. It was only 35 minutes long, and it was very palatable.
But this was one of the oh shit moments, and it wasn't because they said Okami sequel. It was because Kamiya is finally off of his non-compete clause with Platinum, so he was allowed to work for a company again.
Nice.
So that was
is
beautiful.
good. I love that. It reminds me of when, Kojima got rescued from the basement.
So, so in a year where we're getting Marvel vs. Capcom collections and CVS 2 and such, and it's even being nominated for best fighting game. It's like, what year is it?
Anyway.
Mia has returned to Capcom, so it's like, is he going to collaborate with like a brand new Devil May Cry? Like the possibilities running through people's minds now are endless.
You said the magic words, Devil May Cry.
So I do want to say, in regards to the Capcom collection, I don't think a fighting game compilation should be even up for that. That's like saying, the best book of the year is a compilation of Charles Dickens.
Multiverse shouldn't have been on there either because it won last time.
Touche.
Fair.
Yeah. It's just like, you can be a great collection of games. Thank you for doing that. But that doesn't make you a great new game. Like, anyways. All right. So next up, we had Elden Ring Nightreign. This is a standalone co-op spinoff to Elden Ring, which to me, when I would see it, I know this is probably not the case, felt like Elden Ring meets Monster Hunter, because
that's what they were going for.
That's what it looked like to me. That's immediately what I thought. I actually thought for a second it was Monster Hunter. I was like, what the shit? So up to 3 players can team up and explore a condensed map of Elden Ring's Limgrave area. Whenever you play it, random enemies and structures will be added to the start of each session. So it's supposed to be different every time. Basically, the environment's changing every time you go into it.
So it's a randomized mini sandbox with multiplayer.
Yes. Pretty much, yes.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, would be the challenge of what you run into and how you defeat it and doing it as teamwork, I guess.
See, other people.
My kids are going to be playing this. I guarantee it.
Oh, other people who find pain in gaming fun will enjoy this. I will not be playing this, but I will watch other people play it.
I got to correct you with your statement with one word: pain in gaming with friends. Because
that might be the very thing that gets me to continue playing this. If the three of us need to play this.
I was going to say, Swan, are you planning on getting this? Because I will get this if you get this.
I'll get this if you guys get this.
I will watch you guys.
I'll buy it for Rachel.
I just want to see how many horrific ways we could die. That's actually legitimately
so many.
Not for nothing, but I will probably instead go to my local Lowe's, buy a bag of nails, and nail them into my deck.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
Because there's going to be other games announced in our news here that will take place of that. I do not need to go into any Soulsborne territories.
Okay.
Because right now the closest thing I'm playing to Soulsborne is Dynasty Warriors Origin.
So Chase, I'm fairly sure Jeremy's going to buy this. I will at least give it a shot and play with you, or you can play with him. How about that? You can play with Junior. All right. Next up, we had Project Robot, which is from Fumito Iwata, who created Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. This was basically a tech demo that was shown for whatever game this will end up being, because it was so oddly early. I was intrigued by the styling of it, but we really have no idea what it really is. But it felt like a future world of the characters from the Ico games or Ico game, given the similarity in their clothing and some of the designs that were on it. But they were also kind of a mech take on Colossi from Shadow of the Colossus, because you're climbing up one to get into the head of it, and this wave is coming to destroy everything. It separates the head and takes off as the body's destroyed, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, this sounds about as descriptive in how you guys are describing the other TV series earlier on Amazon. Like, these stories make no fucking sense. Here you go. We just got an extra episode right here with these guys.
It actually could have been a secret level in secret level, to be fair.
If they were all like that, I would agree with you. It's super confusing. Like, what happened? I don't know. And it's like the head didn't even detach normally. Like, it had jets to take off, but it's like it ripped itself off. Like, why would you have jets? You're not picking your head up. Whatever. I don't know how many of us are going to be alive when this thing finally comes out. So we'll find out.
Hopefully I'll be dead. So I don't have to see it on the shelf.
Don't make that prophetic, because I will have to clip that and put it with the announcement of your death, and that will be a weird ass video upload. Well, shit, he called it.
I'm like, oh look, it's Last Guardian of the Colossus Psycho.
It's super weird. This one I felt like we had even less to go on than, than Intergalactic. At least that one kind of had an idea of what's going on. This one we're just like, well, that happened. You're all excited.
I hope it's got something behind it where it's not just a cash-in, and it's not the equivalent of just giving what's his name, Kaida Takahashi, just a bag of money and say, just make us whole this Katamari sequel.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if they're trying to mix the 2 or 3 games that they made previously, Eco and Shadow of the Colossus and all that, together somehow, which just feels weird. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea what the hell's going on with this.
Listen, they are the absolute kings of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just add another element into it, which I guess
This is truly next generation. What the fuck?
New games either.
Say what?
I said, yeah, just ask Kojima. He can't make new games either. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah.
I'll just take out characters and make it a longer walk to point A to point B.
Yeah, if it doesn't make sense, put it out. That's what we got from them. All right, So next up, we had Dispatch, starring Aaron Paul, Jeffrey Wright, Laura Bailey, Aaron Yvetter, Jacksepticeye, Moist Critical, Alana Pierce, Travis Willingham, Joel Haver, Lance Canstopoulos, Matthew Mercer, and Thought Squad. What a name of voice.
Did they say if it was Telltale, though?
I don't think it is Telltale.
Because then that's sad that without Telltale, we're getting probably like... I'm looking forward to this game so much.
I like the idea behind it. It's kind of a fun little story-based thing. But so you play as Robert Robertson, which fuck you for using this.
It's basically Free Guy.
Well, it's
Ryan Reynolds brought to the Telltale world, and I love it.
I don't see how it's Free Guy. Robert Robertson's an actual person. He's not like an AI. You're just dispatching heroes out. You're basically taking a job because your suit got destroyed. But I love the fact you're playing as Robert Robertson, which is the old school Stan Lee, naming conventions of Bruce Banner, Reed Richards, and Robert Robertson now, Peter Parker and all that. He was the hero Mecha Man, and his suit was destroyed. But while he's trying to get that suit rebuilt by a different group, they've given him a job as a hero dispatcher, which all these different voice actors are playing different heroes. And based on their skill sets and what's going on, you can dispatch them out to different ones to continue the story and see how successful it works while he's trying to work on getting his suit rebuilt. And apparently people are giving him shit going like, oh, you're not really a hero because you needed the suit, which what are you trying to do? An Iron Man thing here? I don't know. I don't know. It seems bright, colorful, and interesting. And I'm curious how the story's going to go.
I'll be getting it because there's not enough comedy games out there.
It does look funny as hell. Like, I don't know what the creature thing was that kept trying to eat the Twinkies. And he's just like, all right, fuck it. Take the Twinkies. I don't care.
Well, the funny part was he was just like, you're going to finish those Twinks? And he's like, that's not what they're called. You know what? Take them.
Yeah, just take it. It seems like this is going to be very adult
and yes,
humor.
The bat was Moist Critical. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
That is a name. I don't know who that is. Obviously, I know who Jacksepticeye is.
Streamer. Yeah,
okay.
I don't know most of these people.
Whatever.
I know a lot of peers. She used to work for parts of Sony, and I think she just left, so she may be moving on.
I recognize some of the names as voice actors, like Laura Bailey, obviously Aaron Paul.
Whoever the fuck this Matthew Mercer is.
Yeah, who's that?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Sounds like Cameron. But I think it's in their contract that whatever Laura Bailey works on, so does Travis Willingham. So that's funny.
That is so funny.
They're always together because they're husband and wife. So I was like, all right.
Wow.
Makes
Chase, is this one that has any interest to you whatsoever?
Oh yeah, I'll probably look into this. I mean, it's basically just looking at the names, like it's pretty much what like half of Vox Machina is in this is like superheroes now, so that's gonna be pretty cool.
I like the idea behind it because I've always enjoyed comic books that kind of play around with that side of the world where you've got like, Powers, which is the one that, the police group that was investigating and doing stuff, and a couple other series that are like that. And
Chase, the next game we're all going to be behind.
Yep. All right. So next up we have Split Fiction, which is the newest game from Joseph Fares' team. This is the same guy that did A Way Out and things like that.
It takes two.
Huh?
It Takes Two.
Yep. You play as two creators that are stuck in a virtual reality setup that creates the world based on their ideas. It's supposed to be one person for each one, but both of you get shoved into the machine, either on accident / purpose. And because of that, your worlds are being mixed up. And they're trying to get out of this virtual world while the guy running it is trying to steal their ideas. But they have to work together. One of them is a fantasy writer and the other one is a sci-fi writer. So half of this game Rachel's going to love because it's all fantasies and castles, and the other half she's hate because it's in space. Yeah,
but it's
because Rachel is officially now right. The Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast space hater.
Listen. I like space when
no one can listen in space.
It's when it's done a very specific way, and that feels
being on the ground.
Well, it feels more space noir kind of vibe. Like,
give me shit, Rachel.
Listen, I'll give shit right back. You know,
that's how it's always been with us.
It is. We've been doing this for years.
How much shit would I give you for Final Fantasy VII over the years?
I mean, you gave me more shit for Final Fantasy 15.
That was just funny.
Yeah, every time somebody...
I do appreciate the fact that it still has the Joseph Ferris touch where you only need to buy one copy to play co-op.
Yep.
Yes.
I will definitely be picking this up when it comes out, but it'll be nice that we can actually play this together.
Whoever gets it when I get it first, I will play.
I'm getting it day one, so
yeah, I'm gonna get it as well.
Well, shit, we're gonna play
it with Shanoa and beat it 3 times, and then he'll be like, hey, anybody else?
How about say you've got built-in co-op, Chase? You can play with Shanoa.
Nah, any Joseph Ferris game, I think like Swan's always gonna get right of refusal on the first.
Are you sure? I didn't get any say in It Takes Two.
I still have to play It Takes Two. Will someone play it with me?
Yeah, we played it together.
I only got halfway, and Chris is like, "Yeah, I guess I'll play something else." And then an RPG came out, and everything was lost. I haven't beaten that game, and I want to. Damn it!
Well, let's beat it then.
I want to play it too because I started playing it with one of the previous podcast people, and that whole thing fell out. And I'm like, I just want to start it over with somebody new and play it because I have the game.
So. Yeah, that's probably because Swan and I did A Way Out. Yeah,
so did he and I, and holy shit. That game was intense.
So I'm going to give Swan right a refusal. He's going to get first dibs, and then it'll probably be Shanoa, and then anyone after that.
Well, Chase, how about we just cut him out? It's just you and me. Let's just do it.
Let's
just make this decision.
I don't know if I could do that to my best friend. I don't know. That'd be tough.
I gotcha.
How about I will play It Takes Two with Jeremy, and then I will first play Split Fiction with you, Chase.
Hey, that works. Okay. Let's do it.
And then when you play it with Shanoa, then I'll play it the other character with Jeremy, and everybody's happy. And I've played a Joseph Ferris game twice again and loved it.
Yep.
We need to get Rachel in here somehow. Like we need to find a copy for her to play with us.
What game is it?
A couple of them. A Way Out. It Takes Two.
Oh, It Takes Two. I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
That one's great.
We'll get you in there eventually. I'm excited for this one though. Like I do love the idea behind these games.
It does look good. Like I was like, ooh, so it looked pretty.
Well, the fact that it plays exactly the same whether you're on couch co-op or online, which is phenomenal touch. That I love that does that. Go ahead, Chase.
Just want to say, since we're talking about the Game Awards, I feel it's fitting that I do remember the first time that he ever was at the Game Awards, and he got to announce his game, and he was drunk as fuck, and it was hilarious. It was the greatest intro to a game ever. And Jeff Keighley was
this time he was rambling. He was like, "I'm not drunk. I love this game. The 2 characters are named after my daughters. Please show them on camera. And I still love my wife." And I was like, "This guy's amazing. He should host the Game Awards."
He looked like he just like snorted a mountain of coke and just went on stage. It was just like rambling about everything.
More of him and less of Jeff Keighley.
Oh my god! But the first time when because I think it was A Way Out, he announced A Way Out, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he was drunk as hell, and Jeff Keighley's just standing there like super awkward, like, oh my god, why is this guy on screen right now?
Well, they were trying to edit it back then. I think he dropped like an F-bomb and other stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
He did.
Now they just don't care. They're just like, fuck this, fuck that, whatever.
Yeah. Joseph Ferris. Every time he's at the Game Awards, you know it's going to be gold. I love it.
Yeah,
That's fantastic. All right, next up was another surprise I was happy to see return, and this is a new entry in Onimusha is coming back, which...
Haven't we
Hey,
been
what?
poking fun at them not doing anything with Onimusha for a while?
for the last 2 decades.
Yeah. We have to wait until 2026 to get it from Capcom, but the game's preview certainly looked amazing from what I saw so far. Very Onimusha-like, I guess, but just happy that
We
they're
hope.
doing it. I'm curious who they're
Yeah.
going to have playing the character and doing everything. But
We hope it's either going to be play like a Resident Evil like it's supposed to,
Mhm.
or they're going to make it play like Elden Ring, and I'm going to throw it against the wall.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of afraid of.
Yeah.
So it's like, please don't do that. We already have enough Neo and
I'm about to say
games
Sekiro,
like
I
that
think,
that
would
are
not be
already
a
Yeah.
bad
Samurai
control.
Warrior.
As somebody whose heart hurts because I'm never going to get Ninja Gaiden again, proper Ninja Gaiden, maybe
I was about to
this
say,
could be what
well,
Oh,
That's
well,
something
not
better.
yeah, not fuck that shit.
you're
Like,
thinking
No,
of
not
Ninja
that
Gaiden
shit.
Black.
But
Yeah.
I'll get it, but like I'm talking about like 3D Ninja Gaiden.
Play Zenless Zone Zero. There's your Ninja Gaiden at the end.
That's disgusting.
I don't know. I'm excited to get another Onimusha. Those games used to be really cool, so hopefully this will
Yeah,
be a nice little comeback.
I'm cautiously optimistic. That's the way I'm going to
Yeah,
word
that's a
it.
good way to describe it. I think I am as well. Rachel, were you ever into any of the Onimusha titles back in
No.
the day? Really?
This is the best
No.
answer ever.
And that's
Yeah,
it.
I kind of thought she might for some of them, but no.
No.
All right, moving on.
I mean, I've obviously like heard the title, you know, and I think I've watched people play some of it, but I don't distinctly remember playing any of it myself. My gaming interest when I was much younger were very very narrow, like extremely narrow. Whereas now, I mean, I do platformers, I do RPGs, I do mystery games, I do adventure games, I do a bunch of different things, and the only things I don't play is,
Not
I
in
guess,
space.
space and first person shooters.
Nice.
Space.
Space.
It's the only place where capitalism hasn't ruined everything.
That's the only time she's okay with space, is that one line.
Yeah. Tim Curry said it best, man.
Oh,
Love that
was a
guy.
great line. Yes, and definitely. All right, speaking of space, or maybe not space, I don't know, it's somewhere
Space.
on planet. Outer Worlds 2 is coming to PS5, Series X, S, and PC in 2025 with a pretty funny and fairly self-deprecating trailer that they had.
I'm telling
I
you,
thought was
it's
hilarious.
like Fallout and BioShock had a baby and gave it a self-deprecating humor.
Well, I still love
I
the fact
have
they're
something
like,
to say about Outer Worlds 2, but it's. I'm going to say it later after a few more announcements.
well,
Right.
I love the fact it was like from the makers of Knights of the Old Republic 2. and,
Two.
you know, Fallout 2. No, it's New Vegas. It just was like, all right, this is a great trailer.
No, it was Fallout 3 Part 2 New Vegas.
That's what it was. Yeah. Like I love the first Outer Worlds because for a lot of their games, it's just goofy sci-fi stuff, but it's their writing that I always like. The interactions with the people is the highlights for me. And the fact that like my last time I played it, I made a character so dumb he could not read. And that opened up literally just, it says stupid in parentheses as an option for you to make choices. And every time that would come up, I went, nope, has to be that. And I would choose stupid. And he would just do the dumbest things. I loved it. And the fact that they think about that is what makes me love playing their games. So I'm excited for this one. I know not everybody else is, but I'm
excited.
I'm gonna be laughing my ass off.
This is a space game I'll play.
Hey.
Spies.
I have been interested in playing the first game since I watched part of somebody's playthrough, but then I didn't get past, I forgot about it. So I didn't watch any more past like their second or third episode. So I should really finish that.
Well, the beauty is if you actually get to play it, because you get to choose so much of your own stuff. Like you can watch somebody else's, but your playthrough may be completely different.
Oh, I know,
which is
but
great.
I definitely need to watch it because the first thing I thought was, oh wow, this gives me BioShock Infinite vibes.
If you get it really cheap on Switch, it's not the best version, but they have done massive updates for it. Like it's actually become much more playable now.
I was going to say though, if
It was terrible at first.
Rachel, if you like, because it's cheaper now, if you liked BioShock Infinite, you should play Atomic Heart.
Oh yeah, I have that. I have to play it.
I know that's probably the 8th person to tell you that.
No, that's not why I was sighing. I remember seeing that game advertised, and it had the commercial had Jensen Ackles in it, and I went, Jensen Ackles in a video game? Looks it up, he's not in it. It made me very sad. Thank you and good night.
Jensen Ackles denied.
Oh yeah, I know. I was like, why would they put him in the commercial, but he's not in the game? That's sad. So
it's marketing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It got your attention and then immediately got rid of your attention.
Exactly. It's like you had my attention.
Yeah.
Now you have my curiosity, and now I'm not curious anymore.
Shit, this
So.
is backfired. All right, so let's go on to our repeating options here. Last of Us Part 2 in April and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth in January are coming to PC next year.
Okay.
Shocking. I never heard of either of these ever getting remakes or re-releases.
Well, at least they won't be available in at least 190 countries, so at least we have that going for it.
Yep, but we are finally getting some Final Fantasy on Xbox by way of Final Fantasy 16 Clive Rosfield coming to Tekken 8 for part of the Year 1 character pass, which looked interesting. Like I thought it'd be kind of a fun character to use in Tekken, and I'm always down for
Calver's dead, might as well use him there then.
Right?
It was like when I saw the announcement, I wasn't surprised. I was more like, oh yeah, this fits.
It seemed interesting. Like I like special characters like that in fighting games. It's always been a favorite thing of mine.
He looks like a Tekken character.
It's like he's not a Square character, but not the one everybody thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Steven. If there had been a Soul Calibur, he would have probably fit better in that. Mm-hmm. But without it, Tekken's your next best.
Yeah, I was like, I said to Chris, it's Final Fantasy Nightmare.
They're keeping the tradition of putting a single Final Fantasy dude into a fighting game. So
for a split second,
although a lot of his moves look recycled from Noctis.
So. I wouldn't be surprised. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
What was the fighting game that they did with Final Fantasy characters?
Guys, God Bless the Ring.
Or is it Disguise or something? Jeremy would know if I yell at right now.
God Bless the Ring.
That was on PS1 though, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
No. This was one that was on PSP and stuff that I was remembering. That was
sorry,
Dissidia.
I mispronounced it. Dissidia.
Don't let Jeremy hear
that. And then Dissidia Duodecim.
I have all of them because Jeremy loved them as a kid, so I bought every single fucking one of them so he could play them.
It was, but that was also Square Enix's own thing. That was their own thing.
But that when I first saw him, I was like, Jesus, are they doing another fighting game? Like, fuck, we're gonna get another one of those.
Dissidia is basically if Infinity Nikki was a fighting game.
Listen. It's basically if it. Oh, so when they put that out, my brain was like, oh, Square's doing their own version of Smash Brothers. Was I wrong? No,
yes.
I was not. No, I'm not.
That was an arena-based fighter. It wasn't even like it was trying to be.
Don't call it Smash. That was all
Smash Brothers.
No. I said version of, not that it is version of.
Mechanic-wise,
and at its base, it's got story shit and multiplayer.
At its base, it's shit.
So it's got those two things. And that's probably what they were thinking.
I know what they've got. The two things going for it is Jack and shit.
I think it felt more like them trying to make a Power Stone. That's what I mean by the fighting in an environment like that. It was more Power Stone than Smash Brothers. That's what I was trying to say.
That game is basically
the
final version of Destrega. If you ever played Destrega for PS1.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the point of them making it, I think, was to give a Final Fantasy alternative for Smash Brothers. Yes, let's put all of our characters in a fighter blender. Boom. So
I think their aim was to just waste resources.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. I did like some of the character designs in there. So they did great.
Next up, we have the game of the year for Steven. Borderlands 4 trailer was shown. And also not a single mention that they had released an actual full movie this year. They want that shit gone. They just will not talk about it. Steven, go ahead with your praise on this one.
I praise them for losing what made Borderlands, that it is now a soulless piece of garbage, and the fact that Outer Worlds 2 is now the new Borderlands, where everything's funny and self-deprecating and just has better dialogue overall, while Borderlands is like, we're going to have a serious space battle and not one character is going to be funny anymore, except for even Claptrap they fired. So it's like, you guys don't have anything going for yourselves. So I feel bad that kid that was dying, they let play the game and he said it was something special, because I was just like, no, I'm sorry you picked that as your last wish.
Do we think Randy Pitchford left a thumb drive of porn anywhere at the Game Awards?
I hope so, because that's the only thing that's going to save this game.
That's what he likes to do.
So, are we saying that the Borderlands franchise is in its emo phase, because that's what it feels like?
It for me, it peaked at Tiny Tina's, because that was still comedic.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was so hilarious.
And then now it's just like,
it's
we're going to be serious.
Phase.
I'm like, all right, DMC, let's see how this does.
It's in its emo phase.
Well,
it's all doom and gloom.
Phase, yeah.
Well, it's by emo phase, it's more of like the sellout phase, because they've taken anything that was good from it, the writers, the voice actors, and so forth, fired them all, and now they're just trying to husk out a new game from the corpse that is left of those people.
It sounds
it's
like
trying to be a looter shooter.
It's a comedy list Battleborn 2. That's what it is.
Oh.
God damn.
Damn.
You had to bring in Battleborn.
Oh my God.
But yeah, Borderlands used to be absolutely hilarious, and it's just that trailer did seem way too serious. Like, I get you're trying to be excited for some stuff, but there
now
been
it's
some
just
jokes.
Funny they're still making them, because that's about it.
Yeah.
I'll wait for the ultimate vault edition for $20, $15 again, because it's not going to sell, and they'll make one that's yellow. So I was like, okay, whatever.
Eventually all of our favorite things turn into our not favorite things.
That's a lie.
Well, that's the end of the show, guys.
Just say, hey, if you haven't reached that point yet, then that's good.
I'm still waiting for Mario to let me down.
Still waiting for Mario to let us down. That was Wii Music.
He wasn't in it, thankfully.
And nothing fun was in that game. I did get it just to be like, what is this? And I was like, oh God. I only paid $1 for it though, so it's okay.
Hey, can't complain about that. $1.
Oh, I still can complain, but
anyway.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Yeah, Borderlands 4, I was enjoying co-oping 3 for a little while, but I have not played that since that group of people. So if anybody else wants to mess around with it, we can.
This next one is my second oh shit moment, and it's not for the reason you think.
I was excited, but all right. So Virtua Fighter is coming back for the 30th anniversary with a new title. The trailer was shown, and they held a VF Direct yesterday, which only gave a few updates on this game. They mostly talked about other stuff. They did verify that the old man shown in the beginning of the trailer that was bursting through the wall and then fighting what is Akira. That's his new design. So they're kind of pulling a Ryu and stuff where he's getting older and dressing all like he's a homeless guy. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo is coming to Steam with rollback code on January 28th of next year. So that's kind of
beta right now.
Oh, it is in beta. I did not know that.
You can download it on Steam right now today.
Ooh, I will have to do that. Steven, go ahead. You had something you wanted to say?
The oh shit moment came from the fact that since they already announced during the show that Yu Suzuki has sold his soul to mobile and is making some garbage over there, that this game is being made by RGG Studio. And I was like, yes. So if any game can, or any studio can do it, it's going to be them, because after playing Yakuza where you can do like 3 different fighting styles, I was just like, they're the perfect people I would have imagined for this.
Well, so apparently one of the things they showed is there's going to be skins that not only show like the original Virtua Fighter models, but then there's also ones that turn them into a couple of the characters from Yakuza. So
it can't be Kiryu though, because he doesn't beat women.
True. I recognize the faces of the 2 that they showed, but I don't remember exactly which games they were from. I'll have to look and see.
But the announcement just gets better from the announcement just gets better from here.
I've always loved Virtua Fighter. My favorite being Virtua Fighter 4 back on the PS2. I liked the mechanics and the setup for that one. I did enjoy 5 and some of the things they did with it later. But I've always liked playing Virtua Fighter. I just didn't have that many friends that were really into the series, so I couldn't really play too much with people around here, sadly. But this having rollback, I'm hoping I can actually enjoy it more online. And work through those mechanics, because that would be kind of fun. This next one, though, is another game from RGG Studio, the makers of Yakuza and Like a Dragon, like you said, is one called Project Century. which we do not know much about, which I find funny. We know less about this than we do the other games you guys were thumbing down. Like, you know less about this than those, which still
because
confuses
we
me.
like these guys'
Yeah.
acumen,
RGG has all my love right now.
all of it.
I mean,
Yes.
they're both games we don't know much about, so I'm going to look into either one of them. But so this is a surprisingly violent-looking action-adventure game set in 1915. All we
I
saw
like
was
that
them
it's set in 1915. That just
beating
seems
up
cool.
people. You see blood splatter and stuff like that, but there was no story or anything else. We don't know what's going on with it.
You play as
So-
a guy who punches.
That's all we know. So I don't know. I can't get super excited for a game I have no idea what it is. It looked like it was a tech demo.
We
more
can.
than an actual
RGG
game.
can announce a puzzle game and I'll buy it.
Yeah, either way. After that, we had Turok returning in Turok Origins, which is a co-op dinosaur hunting game. I'm guessing it's supposed to be kind of like a prequel or something.
I want to
I'm not
say
sure.
I pulled the Rachel here
Mhm.
because I knew which one in the order it was. So I was like, what is this? Turok 6? And it was Turok Origins. I was like, it is Turok 6.
Or I think they're restarting part of it, but
Because we had 1, 2, 3, Rage Wars, and then Turok for
Mhm.
Xbox 360.
Which that was
and
a
now we've
whole
got-
yeah, that was a whole restart of the series, and I think
So this is the
another one.
6th Turok, but I was like, this one's going to be good.
Maybe, I don't know. It's a 3-player co-op, which you don a biomorphic suit that lets you take DNA from the creatures you kill to gain new abilities that kind of gives you different powers or weapons and things like that. So I'm curious how that's going to be.
And if the company logo is correct, it's made by Saber, who worked on World War Z, so it's already got a
Oh,
good.
Nice. I didn't catch the logo, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, it showed Saber, and I can't remember the other one. It showed 2 logos. It had Saber and another one at the very beginning.
I was just like, you had me at Saber.
I still want to give it a shot because I enjoyed the old Turok game, so I'm like, yeah, I want to
And
see
it's
what they do with
co-op.
it.
I hope
Turok with
there's a
co-op.
fog mode too.
Yeah, I'm hoping the co-op saves it, even if the game is bad. Sometimes a bad game with co-op can be fun. Like,
Hey,
Oh,
I liked
yeah.
Evolve.
Just like Damnation.
Jesus. All right. Next, we had Ninja Gaiden Ragebound from .mu coming summer 2025. This is a 2D side-scrolling game with beautiful pixel graphics. I liked how it was for that looked. You play as Kenji Mozu instead of Ryo Hayabusa, even though he is featured in the story trailers. So he's in there somehow for some parts. Maybe he'll be an
And
ally.
now we're like, are those are the 2 Ninja Gaiden characters separate characters? Now we're really confused. Like, why did Ryu give his blue costume out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we don't know if Ryu could be an ally or an extra character at some point, or maybe he's in a different mode where you can play as him. This one's coming to PS4, PS5, Switch, Steam, and Xbox systems, which makes sense. It's a side-scrolling game. It's not exactly the most graphically intense. So, still going to support the older systems.
As a Ninja Gaiden fan, I'm glad that it's getting some love. I just wish it was different kind of love.
Well, I'm
I'll take what I
curious
can get.
as a Ninja Gaiden guy.
Wait.
I'm curious if you've ever played because I actually played this one and I enjoyed because it was a different mechanic. Did you ever play the DS one?
No.
Where you would? It's surprisingly fun. Like you would
That one
hold it
plays
a
like the
book.
Xbox One's
Uh-huh.
chase, but with a lot of touch controls and swiping and stuff.
No. Okay. No,
But
I never played.
you would hold it as a book,
Yeah.
so you'd have the control on that side. It was very different, but I mean, it was kind of cool that they didn't just make a generic game for it. They made it very unique to the DS hardware, and
Yeah, and it is
thought it was
canon
very
because all
interesting,
the
yeah.
characters in it were in 3. So
Nice.
yeah,
I've-
it's a fun use of it.
Yeah, I played I've played 1, 2, and 3. I never played like the old 2D side scrolling games, like 2D platformer games, but I played 1, 2, and 3. Really loved them. Like that was back when like those games were super difficult. Like that was kind of like almost like the precursor to Dark Souls, of just difficulty. Like that game was extremely brutal
Yeah,
towards you, and like there was some bosses that were so freaking hard. I had to find and just like I literally just like exploit certain moves. It's like that jump dash that you could do over and over again just to find it, just to beat.
So I'm
Enemies.
curious, did you also play, or have you ever played Shinobi and Nightshade?
Yeah, I've played
Oh,
Shinobi.
yeah,
I
those
love
are cool.
Shinobi. So good.
Yeah, those are really good
Yeah,
versions. of
Shinobi
them.
and Nightshade were good.
I don't think I played Nightshade though, but I played Shinobi.
Nightshade's like the sequel to it. They pulled The Witcher 4 though. You only play as a chick.
Oh, that's fine. I don't care about that. But like,
Don't be those guys.
but hey, yeah, I'm glad to see that Ninja Gaiden's getting another installment though. So that's nice.
And I like this .emu or .emu. I don't know how they actually pronounce it. I always call it like .emu, but I've enjoyed the stuff they put out recently. So I think they're really good for the side-scrolling games, and
it's one of the best people they could pick. Yeah.
And it looks like this is going to be like an actual story mode type side-scroller, not just like where the world is generated every time, which are fun, but I'm getting kind of burned out on.
No,
I want to just have a story that I can play through with levels and so forth, and kind of have that nice challenge.
Speaking of something that is not good that's coming back is that Double Dragon Revive they showed off. That's going to be crap.
I saw some of it. I'm
even the creator spoke up and he's just like, "That's not Double Dragon at all." And Chris said they all look like action figures.
I wanted to see more about it.
But if you pre-order it now, you get Double Dragon Revive Dodgeball. Okay.
Anyways. No. So the last little bit of news I had on here, at least in regards to game announcements, is kind of an extra bit of news as well. I thought was funny. So Palworld is getting a new expansion called Feybreak, which was shown and arrives in January of next year. But there was another update that just went through that ironically removes the Pokemon-like mechanics for the ball throwing. So before you would throw the ball, wherever it would hit, your pal would come out and you would use them. Now you just pull the ball out and it makes the creature appear right next to you. You don't throw it. Nothing comes out from it, which seems like as much as they kept talking shit that they're not doing anything and whatever, they are changing stuff to get around the Nintendo lawsuit. They're probably making a deal going, okay, we're going to take these mechanics out. I
hope now that Konami sues Palworld saying we own the patent for holding something out and a creature comes out of it. So like you copied Yu-Gi-Oh now, so now you're in bigger trouble. It's time to duel on at the court again.
Oh my God. I can't believe you just said that.
Well done. Well done.
Deep cut.
Very deep cut.
You made Rachel smile.
I love Yu-Gi-Oh!
Which the funny thing is like the Palworld developers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love
a lot of people
it was that series.
If you do, they are making that compilation of 14 classic games though.
Oh yeah, that's a shit ton.
Early days.
I consumed the anime more than I played the games, but I appreciate the.
I love the censorship that they can't shoot each other and they go to the Shadow Realm instead of die.
Yeah,
that's great. So the other thing is like the Palworld developers, like they were already well known for making games that copy other developers. And I'm laughing my ass off because now they're apparently making a new one that's copying a Sony IP as much as they've been trying to work with the PlayStation. So now they're trying to rip off Sony games. Everyone's like, wait a minute.
What IP are they copying this time?
I have to look.
Horizon.
Yeah, I think it's Horizon.
There's robotic animals and it's open world. And there's a female protagonist that's tribalistic.
What is wrong with these people?
Yeah, so I find it so funny. The first game that was put out that they screwed everybody over and quit developing was a ripoff of Breath of the Wild. Now they made the one that's a ripoff of Pokemon with all this stuff.
They're
trying to play the victim and be like, oh no, we're this little developer. We're not doing this.
I didn't even know about the Breath of the Wild dupe one. So
yeah. Well, because they dropped it for Palworld. They just dropped all support for it, never finished it. And they were like, oh, did you buy our game? Deal with it. And now they're doing another one.
Maybe they're just visiting Neil Druckmann for inspiration.
Well, you would hope that people in the game industry possess an ounce of original thought, but I'm beginning to see that is not a thing anymore.
Not with these guys. Nope, not with these guys.
When you see how many Vampire Survivor clones there are, when you see how many Baltro clones that are coming.
Oh God, I can imagine Baltro's probably got.
They announced Slay the Spire 2, and that's because there's way too many Slay the Spire copycats now. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right. Yep. Another Dave the Diver Jungle.
I'm about to say that's their sequel. I just got Dave the Diver today, and I'm gonna finally try that out.
But
have
this
it.
is an update. This is an update, so at least they're using that 10-cent money.
Yeah,
There
I
you go.
have Dave the Diver, I believe.
So the last little bit from the show I want to talk about was the absolutely brutal takedown with the Muppets, Statler and Waldorf against Jeff Keighley.
That was the best part of the show, I think. When I watched the
So-
highlights, that's all I cared about.
So what we don't know, and I think Steven, you and I talked about this as well beforehand, we don't know if these were pre-approved jokes, and if they were, Jeff Keighley was definitely taking the piss out of himself on this, allowing this to happen, or, which I hope is better the case, that they were brought in there and were probably given rules for how far they could go, but were free to say what they wanted. And because Jeff had honestly shocked looks on his face.
Yeah,
Some
this
of
was
the
like
comments.
a Reddit roast me, then well done.
Yeah. Because like they went for the throat, and it was really funny. They went after the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's criticisms, even like his friendships they went after. They called him a sellout, joking that they heard he was one, even though there were empty seats in the place, which was great. They stated the show was a stream of commercials with occasional breaks for awards, because they would just break through the announcement so quickly. They said, well, Jeff was friends with Hideo Kojima, that Kojima himself may not have known that.
And then they put
Did you see his reaction to that? Like,
I don't know if he either didn't know what was said or was just embarrassed.
Like he kind of looked down, and I couldn't tell whether it was hard to tell because of the lighting, but it almost looked like he kind of smiled a little bit and then tried to hide it. Which
yeah, I think he was just left stranding. I mean, stranded.
I love that. I love that. But
Steven's our local Muppet with those jokes.
Listen. Okay, so a couple years ago they had Gonzo on the Game Awards, right? And
Trash.
what?
Which I love the Muppets, so I mean I'm always
He didn't fit in the Game Awards.
No,
was
he
a weird
really
one.
didn't. And
He was a feature in them.
they kind of they almost made fun of him because he made a joke about doing the mission in Breath of the Wild where he kept following the cuckoo, and then he kept restarting, and that's as far as he got because that's all he wanted to do was follow the chicken.
Yeah, because Camilla. He wanted to get with Camilla.
Exactly. But they kind of made fun of him, so I think this was retaliation. Sending Statler and Waldorf.
So the game show itself and Jeff Keighley himself have gotten a lot of criticism, especially for last year's show, because they were playing people off early, which that got brought up by multiple developers. And, that was one of the jokes that Statler and Waldorf made, that they were.
And they brought him back to say the rest of his speech.
Yeah, I love the fact he was like, I'm up here announcing and they can't make me stop now. They can't play me off. I can just say what I want. And he's like, if you win it, that's your thing, is you come back the next year and you can say whatever you want. And I was like, damn.
And then I made the funny joke of his whole speech after that was, what if a game was made by Nintendo? And he was like, what if everybody was nice and nobody was fired and everybody loved each other and there was innovation? And I was like,
they were more worried about creativity than profit. And I was like, yeah, Nintendo.
I did love the one award. The one thing I remember, because I like I said, I didn't watch it, just watched the highlights. The one thing I remember is they gave that award to that guy that helped all of those devs that got laid off.
Oh, that did not turn out good.
No, it didn't.
There was a history to that guy.
Look up his name on LinkedIn, Rachel. He actually works for Tencent, and he's the one that would actually look into and tell Tencent which companies they should buy.
Which led to a lot of layoffs.
So he caused it, is what I'm hearing. He caused a lot of these things, and then him helping people find so he actually feels bad about it, I guess.
No, probably not.
I don't want to jump in and say the guy.
What kind of weird business model is that? You get all these people fired, and then you're recognized for helping them find. That's some weird shit, man.
I'm curious what the full story behind that is.
He's got like Kylo Ren going on. He's just like, I ruined a lot of things, but now I'm gonna repent.
Yeah, at least he's repenting, I guess.
I guess. But the funny thing is, like, they let him have his whole speech and did all that stuff and focused on it as a pat on their own back. Look what we're doing. But then they had like awards for, the games that had the most cause and stuff like that they just like announced it and moved on really quick. Like a laptop ad got more time than any of these type of awards.
Just remember, best ongoing game went to Helldivers.
Which that was a mess.
Because they were like, "Oh, this is a team that supports you with constant updates," and I was just like, "We just discussed that in the beginning of this podcast with Chase, saying like they keep going back and forth." So I don't know if that's best ongoing support.
Yeah,
they're a team that's held hostage by the inmates. The inmates are running the asylum at this point.
Yeah, that whole thing, like especially like how many countries that people bought the game that all of a sudden they couldn't play it because they decided to do an
community
update.
Support going to Baldur's Gate though is much deserved.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I agree with that. And I don't know, like anytime that there's, we have all these other games available, like, what's the space one I'm thinking of here? Damn it. No Man's Sky.
Planetary?
Like No Man's Sky should win that every fucking year. Like that's just, they're still going and they still have not charged you for one single update.
They're literally just like, oh man, this would be cool in the game. Let's add it.
I mean, it's one of the first games that supports actual 8K output on the PS5 Pro. Just because they fucking could.
That reminds me. I'm trying to remember the name of the game that's coming out, but Hello Games is helping produce and publish it. But I don't remember the name of the game.
Shit, you're right.
Yeah.
Is this like everyone's woman's ground?
It's what? No, I don't know.
Steven.
I don't know.
That breaks me. Just what the hell?
I don't know. It's something, but Hello Games is helping this other developer publish and produce, I guess, this game that they want to do, and they're only doing it because they're friends. Like they're friends. They're like, oh yeah, I'm your friend.
Campfire, is it?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm looking at some of the stuff on their game. That's a Steam game. I think that's something different.
No, it's not even out yet. It's something that's in development. I don't remember what it is.
I'll have to look and see because I think they were just helping with it because they're such a small team.
Yeah, it came across my Threads feed and it's gone now. I don't know. Shows how much information actually I keep in my brain these days, which is there's a lot in that noggin, but if it's classified as this is short-term memory, it gone in like a day. So, but anyway.
All right. So while we're having this discussion, let's go ahead and jump into our big question for this week in regards to the Game Awards itself. So this week, what I was thinking was, with the 10th anniversary of the Game Awards having gone on, do you feel they should drop the whole pretense of awards and embrace the fact it's an E3 marketing replacement over the idea of them awarding anything, with how little attention they really give to everyone, with most just being quickly announced and not even shown to be given or people getting to say anything? Like, should they just drop that pretense and just be an E3 replacement, because they're not really doing much with these awards?
So,
but I'll let you all talk about it. So Rachel, you start off.
So no, I don't think that they should drop that pretense, because if they do, the whole thing is going to end and it's not going to happen anymore.
Okay.
And I don't want that. I just think that they need someone to work on the format of the show a little more, so it actually functions a little better. Like doing an announcement like that is not unusual. Like, here's an example. People use entertainment, like, for example, this is sports games. You know how trailers and announcements happen during sports games because they know a ton of people are watching. So Game Awards kind of does the same thing. They announce things during the Game Awards because, or companies like to announce things during the Game Awards because they know that is going to be when they reach a larger audience that might not have seen it as part of their state of play or their direct or whatever similar thing it is that they do, because they're trying to reach more people out of the scope of their normal consumers, whereas they might have a couple 100,000 followers on Threads or something like that, and they post a announcement on there. Only those people are going to see it. and maybe they'll get lucky and it'll go across the For You page, but it's a way for them to reach a larger audience. I just think that they need to kind of, they're going to need to limit the amount of announcements made if they're going to continue with this award show thing, which they should, because people like to get recognized. Recognition is actually a very powerful tool. It makes people feel good about their work and themselves outside just fan feedback and sales. And it's like it's another tangible thing of success, and it makes people feel good. And yeah, so I don't think that they should just become a E3 marketing replacement thing. I don't think that's a smart idea. I think they should definitely keep the awards, but they need to have someone on that team to help with the formatting, where it doesn't feel, where people don't feel stilted because they were interrupted or they were, played off stage. It's funny if it's done in a comedic way, like, the Oscars has done it and the Academy Awards has done it, where they play people off comedically. And also, like, there are sometimes trailers that premiere and announcements that are made at the things like the Oscars and the Academy Awards too. So that
I don't remember once ever seeing that.
They kind of have, but it's
they make
during
jokes
like
or talk about it, but they might buy commercial time.
Yeah, commercials.
Like
yes,
right. But this is. Well, I'll let you guys finish before I get to my
point.
But
the format is still the same. The format is still similar in that vein, where they're using an award show to then reach a larger audience and therefore get their announcement game, whatever, out to more people. It's still a similar format, or whereas instead of actual commercials, it's a game announcement. So it's still the same format. So no, I don't think that they should go to an E3 thing, because I feel if they do, that the whole thing would go away, and I don't think that's the right thing. Anyway,
I greatly disagree, but I'll get to my point in a minute. Steven or Chase, which y'all want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay, Steven, go ahead.
I still think some of this stuff needs to, the way it's being presented is still okay by me. I don't need any time taken up for best esports. I don't need anything for best.
Take out some categories.
Team. I don't need Bowser to come on screen and say thank you for Mario Party or anything like that. But some of these other ones, we're getting to see the creator for the first time. Unless you made Balatro, then that guy's very reclusive, so he's just called something Thunk. But they're just saying it in their behalf. What I don't think they should do is there's still sprinklings of his previous work called the Spike TV Game Awards.
Yep.
Where we don't need celebrities. As cool as it was, we didn't need Harrison Ford coming on, getting paid however much he got to not read the teleprompter, because he even said, I'm not reading that. We don't need those celebrities. Aaron Paul was perfect because he's in the game.
Yeah, if they're in the game, and they're involved, then yes.
Technically, Harrison Ford was involved. It's his face.
Getting Rachel Rodriguez and Vin Diesel last year because they're in games. They're either in a crappy Fast and Furious or they're in another Ark survival game. Those are fine. They're in the game, so they're okay to be on the stage.
Well, what about? I mean, you say that with Harrison Ford, but he was in it.
Yeah, he is in it, but did he really? Do you think he actually wanted to be there?
His likeness is in it, so it's like, it is what it is. But I like it because at least now, like, I don't feel most of like the viewing public can get faces to like some of these developers or get to see how much passion they had for making the game, because they don't watch those YouTube videos of interviews.
Right.
So by having this format helps. I'm looking at what Spike TV used to be, and their awards were atrocious because they had the award for Gamer God, with that went to a company. They had awards for Best Game of the Decade. They had good awards like Video Game Hall of Fame. The first one they gave was to the Legend of Zelda series, so that was good.
Yeah.
Their last player's voice they had was who's going to be the cover athlete of NFL Blitz. So I was just like, some of those were ridiculous. And yes, we could probably say that a lot of these awards are tied around a DLC announcement, a sequel announcement, or the Sony check cleared
I
after.
just-
But
I just think they
but-
need to work on the format.
yeah, like I get the having to have all the sponsors, and I don't even mind the banners on the bottom, but when I have to see like a 10-minute mobile commercial or know about a PC again, I'm just like, okay, at least you give me a bathroom break. And lastly, do not have musical acts that have nothing to do with the games. I don't need to hear Snoop Dogg go on set unless he was going to be on the next Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, or
If
like
he's
music
on the
from a
next Grand
game
Theft
that maybe
Auto,
he did, you know.
or he's just saying that we have a game company. I was just like, okay, why don't you play us a song from your upcoming game then?
Mhm.
If that's what you're going to say. Don't have you and your son come out and be like, we made a game studio. Like, okay, and now you're going to sing and make us forget that you just said anything. So,
Yeah.
like she said, work on the format and make it more about games if that's possible, Jeff, and less about like trying to do these little spots or try to be funny.
All right. Chase, what about you?
Yeah, I don't know that I'm kind of in the opposite of what Rachel said in the sense of, because she said limit presentations. I'm the opposite. I'm limit categories for the awards.
That's kind of what I meant, actually.
Like, because I'm like, I don't need to know who the best content creator is because that's super subjective and
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that nobody cares. So, like, I don't need that. I don't need best ongoing game. That's kind of also like,
Yeah.
Why?
That's
Why are you
subjective
doing
as
that?
well.
I
Yeah.
think they need to take a step back and look at the categories and say, is this really necessary for us to like put this on the show, like televise it? So
Like-
they used to have best performance by a male and a female.
Mhm.
Why did they combine them when not even the Oscars or anybody else does that? Like,
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
why did you combine them?
And, like, I think, I think you should just have like some, like the main ones that are like really popular. I mean, best, like best fighting, like have a best of the genre,
yeah.
I think is good. I think,
I think narrative is good if you're giving like props to the writers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
I agree.
I don't know.
You have best writers for movie awards and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
fine.
I think they definitely need to just look at the categories and look at their format, look at how they're doing it, really examine it, and rework it.
Yeah, because I was just watching it this morning, so some of it's still fresh in my head, and like just watching them where they'd be like, oh my god, that presentation was awesome. We've got another one here for you. Oh, by the way, Baldur's Gate 3 got best community whatever award. Here's the new presentation. It was just like, okay, cool. Like, why did you even need to do
if
that?
they're going to do those awards, then just do them online. Don't even talk about them.
Exactly.
Because,
And
or do them during the pre-show.
Like, stop wasting our time.
Yeah.
You could even say, hey, there's other awards that have been given out that we're not televising, we're not filming on this. You can view the complete list on XYZ, and that kind of thing. So,
yeah, I think the reason why they do like the because I really think the reason why they did like the musical performance with a guy from 21 Pilots, and then they had like Snoop Dogg on there and stuff, is because they have star power, and so that draws attention, and that's why they do it. I'm not necessarily saying that it's great or that I care about it, but because I watched the video game awards for the video game awards and also the presentations.
I think if the music is relevant, then sure. Like, for example, last year's Old Gods of Asgard, that was relevant.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And at least this year we still got Flute Guy, so that was good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a whole damn orchestra there they could use for a lot of things.
Which year was it where they brought out Mick Gordon? And him and his band did the Doom. Like, that was cool because I think Doom was up for an award.
Yeah, I think it just has to be relevant. Like,
yeah, I think the major theme we're getting at here is it has that relevancy.
Yeah,
like don't just put stuff to fill in the time.
And also relevancy is in some ways subjective, but I think in this case, I think the way that they're thinking relevancy is, what are the kids talking about these days on the TikTok?
Yeah.
Well, somebody made the perfect joke before the Game Awards even began, and they just said, which awards are going to be just done on the side to make room for more Muppets? And they were
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Listen, I was fine with the Muppets being there. That was
No,
that
those
was
I know,
are-
great.
but that's
Muppets
the
I
joke. The
liked.
more Muppet times, the less awards on screen.
Mhm,
Well, I
mhm.
think. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go into mine because it's going to be a minute here, but I'm looking at things if we're wanting to have this as an actual award show with the amount of credentials and everything they think they have for this. I do think they should separate these two because you look at the Oscars, the Grammys, the Tonys, the Golden Globes, actual awards that are given. Yes, they do have certain categories that are given in pre-shows, like you talked about, and so forth. But when they have musical performances, 99.9% of the time, it is related to a movie or production that is on there. If it's, musicians coming up, you're, playing the latest song from the Bond movie or something tied to that, or a musical number that's just kind of having fun with the idea of the movies and things like that. You can have comedians on there to do things and make it entertaining. They have their little jokes and self-referential stuff. But when you hear the conversations and people coming up and talking about awards and so forth, they are tied to the medium. And most of the time, we're not getting that. I understand, you're going to have some that are, we're going to announce it. And I agree. They have the internet. They could film these and have the conversations and have them available online on our YouTube channel or something to get more views. That would be perfectly fine. That would actually give them an infinite amount of time to be able to talk and let people, discuss their things. Because they've got certain awards like the most most impactful for whatever, and then they didn't even mention or let them talk or show them or things
Games
like
for
that.
Impact, yeah.
Yeah, it's like you gave more time to some of the other ones than that. And I agree, like some of them are going to be like esports is kind of a weird one because yes, that's not a normal type of category, but for gaming, that is something that might be unique to it.
But I also feel they have the streamer awards and stuff like that already puts the spotlight on them.
Exactly. Because you still get to the point of like who chooses importance on different things. And I get like for the Oscars and so forth, they might show trailers during their commercials, but this already has commercials. So you're talking about commercials on other things, and bringing up people for special announcements. It feels like it's kind of growing the want of look at us. We've got this stuff, which is what E3 used to be. That was the purpose of it because it brought all these groups together to do this while minimizing the actual award part of the people that are making these games. And yes, he mentioned the developers this year and them being laid off, but I think he got bullied into that. I think he only said it because he caught so much shit for just ignoring it last year. Playing off one of the groups, the guys from Larian Studios while they were talking about one of their people that died making the game, playing them off. Like they caught a lot of shit for it, as they should have. And I think if they want to legitimize this to a point of actually awarding these shows as the art they are and the work they put into it, they need to drop this pretense of it being all this flash and circumstance for all of it. It just feels like such a weird back and forth to me on it. I get having some of the stuff but honestly, almost everybody talking about this, they're not talking about who won what award, what developer was credited for the work they did.
They are talking about who won what award.
Well, for some of them they are, like the big ones that they announce, but they don't talk about any of the technical aspect of it, or they've got people doing different stuff. It's like for the Emmys and the Oscars and all that, they get more into the nitty-gritty of people that are making these things. Feels like they're kind of left out. Like this is for the companies mostly. I don't know. I feel there's a legitimacy they could work towards, which they think they have, but it's still pushing towards the marketing side. But that's how I feel about it. I know you guys probably don't agree, but
Well, I think it's just where they make their money. Like that's the problem. Like, I mean, the problem is if you want them to become just an E3, E3 died. E3 died for a reason, so they can't really do that. And I think that's the problem is if they just try to become a new E3, then they're just going to go the way of E3.
It's the same reason even Summer Games Fest, which is our only E3 left, is full of commercials as well.
Yeah. At least then you understand what you're going in for. It's just because that's not... They got to figure out something to
Like
the
I
award
don't
side of it.
care who wins, but then I'm like, these are probably going to win because we're going to get a new announcement. So that part excites me because I was like, yeah, it's going to be tied to something.
Mhm.
But this is the first time I've seen like Team Asobi at all, in person, seeing Kamiya in the audience.
Yeah, I think
Seeing the guy I thought was from Balatro wearing the card jacket, and it was just a friend.
Yeah, he didn't even show up.
But like, if you don't have good writing though, like stop with these weird intros and stuff. It's not funny.
Yeah, I think. There's a lot of things the video game awards do that I don't care for, and one big one for me is I don't think that DLC should count as another, like, should allow you another entry into win another award. Like, you've had your year. That's it.
Yeah, their big thing is DLC remakes and remasters are now up for grabs.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah,
like
and
that.
that's the same argument I had earlier with like the Marvel vs. Capcom collection.
Yeah.
I don't think should have been on there because they're great games, but it's a compilation of other ones. Like I said before, you don't get an author award for releasing a compilation of Charles Dickens books. This book is better because it's all these other books together. It's like that's not how it works. That doesn't go against new books that were written. So I don't know. It's an interesting one, and it is a larger discussion in regards to that. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like, it does get the attention and the eyes, but they need to find a way. If they want the legitimacy they actually believe they have, they need to treat it like a lot of these other ones do as well. Which, yes, they do have their ads and commercials for those Oscars and so forth, but they're not the focus on the show itself. You're not stopping the announcements there to go like, well, this is, from Energizer. They're doing the actual show, and they just have those segments in between as they're changing and doing things, which they have those moments they could do.
Yeah, at least we're not getting like the Doritos Game of the Year award or something.
Oh yeah, I'm glad they at least stopped shit like that. So some of it they're trying to work towards the right direction. Which, I mean, it's going to take time. They've only done this 10 times, and I know that sounds snarky, but the Oscars have been going for a lot longer. They've had time to work it out. If you look at what they started out with originally versus what they have now.
And don't get me wrong, like, it's hard to make something entertaining then when all their nominations are for some people like complete just out of their wheelhouse, and I'm like, I'm not watching that because it's all garbage, because it's all stuff that they don't watch.
Yeah,
because they're just like, the movies I watched that made more money didn't make it on there, except for CG and costumes. So it's like, you're never gonna have a Marvel movie ever win movie of the year or best picture. Basically, it's not gonna happen. Somebody has to die and be sad about it for it to win best picture. Somebody has to completely change their MO to win best picture.
That's why they have the whole term of Oscar bait.
Doesn't mean anything when anybody wins an MTV Music Award. It doesn't mean anything when you win a Nickelodeon's Kids Choice Award. It doesn't mean anything supposedly when you win a Golden Globe. It just means you're now in the running for an Oscar, and then once you win the Oscar, nobody's going to want to work with you. So it's weird. But I think the main overarching method here is, if you enjoy something, support it, even if it's horrible and you hate it. So
why'd you have to bring No Man's Sky up like that? Like, what the hell, man? For those listening, he fucking just pulled up his PS4 and Switch versions, and they look like they're not even opened. Are those still
PS5 and Switch versions?
PS5.
I now own 3 different versions of No Man's Sky.
Oh, I haven't picked up the PS5 version yet. Damn it. Oh,
I haven't played that game in years now, but it's still good. I still like it.
It was $15 on
That's the most
Bandai
spaced
Namco
ass
store.
game, Rachel.
Listen, but here's why I liked it, Jeremy. When it first came out, I could literally go home, get home from work, do what I gotta do, sit on my couch, play it for 20 minutes, just dicking around and collecting resources and flying around my spaceship. Do that for about 30 minutes, then put it away, not play it for a week, and then be perfectly fine just picking it up again and not feeling lost, not feeling like, what the heck was I doing? Because it didn't matter. I was just doing random stuff, and that's why I liked it.
I'm okay with that.
The reason behind this is also because you know how people want complete on cart, or complete on disc. I can't speak for this because it still says 15 gigs on minimum on the back, but it does say includes all updates.
Right.
But this one doesn't give any kind of space requirement, and it says it includes 6 years of updates. So I was like, so this is the complete edition, not the PS4 edition at all.
Yeah, it's all on there. I have that
so
one.
I was like, I was like, that's pretty cool. And I got this because they were the first to do the technical Marvel stuff that people were like, wait, you can do that on the Switch? So I was like, okay, if Hello Games makes a good game for Switch 2, we'll be in good shape.
I have a rule that if I find a new version of that game, regardless, I buy it because they have done so many updates that they have never charged for once. I feel like I should just buy the game. Like that's, I haven't.
Well, heck,
I need to find the PS5 version then.
Sometimes you want to support good practices, even though it's a game you might not like.
You two alone will pay for the game that they're developing now. Congratulations!
Oh God, don't say that. I'm so sorry, everyone.
I'm okay with it.
At least I'm not responsible for Avowed, so we're good.
Fair.
Fuck you, man. Just fuck you.
Oh, also, I just wanted to tell you
you
guys.
are though because you subscribe to Game Pass.
I wanted to tell y'all. I looked up that guy. You know, the guy that won the award that apparently he should not have won, and I am shocked.
Shocked, I say. Well, maybe not that surprised.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
I'm just like, ugh, man. You know what? After I read that, you know what I first thought? Oh man, I guess the Game Awards is now just a pony show.
Yeah.
I'm wrong?
Hoping,
you're not.
I think it ended with the last guy that won either last year or 2 years ago, but I'm hoping that the content creator curse is done.
Yeah.
There was that 1 year that Dr. Disrespect won, and then Boogie 2988 won the year before.
Yeah.
But now they give it to, I think, Ironmouth and then this time Queso, but
and Queso's just a normal dude.
Yeah. Normal dude who gets some of the best viewer mail ever.
Oh, yeah.
I just want comments or something so I can talk to people that watch this show. That's all I want. Like, I'm not wanting a bunch of stuff, just people we can talk to. I like the interaction.
You just need to just drop a USB in an airport somewhere and people
leave it in the bathroom. I'm going to get a call from the FBI. We heard your show. I was like, thank you. And then from that point, I'm arrested. All right. Let's end this. I think we've done enough.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, wrap it up. That'd be great.
Start playing the orchestra music.
I really should have gotten some of that. That'd have been great to start playing over. It's like, oh, damn it, we got to go. I have to remember that for next year's award one. All right. So if you're watching this over on YouTube, you want to listen to it, the audio version is available wherever you get your podcasts. Just look for the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast and we will be there. We're also over on Spotify and so forth. Leave us a rating and a review. We greatly appreciate it because it helps more people actually hear about us and listen to the show or watch it. But if you're listening to it and you want to watch the show, we're over at youtube.com/Zenspath.com. So that's Zenspath.com without the period. Leave us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Go ahead and let us know your thoughts on the big question this week, or go back to any of our previous ones and answer those as well, because that's where we love to talk about these things. If you want to talk to us directly, your best way to do that is over at on our Discord, which is bit.ly/Zenspath Discord. And then our individual, wherever you can find us online, is found in the show notes for either the YouTube video or the podcast audio version, where you can find it there. Once again, the Discord's the easiest way. You can find more of us over at Zenspath.com, where I have a couple of old articles I wrote, and also the listings to the newest shows, both in audio and video format. And from there, this has been episode 153 of the Zenspath Entertainment Network Podcast, and we're out. Peace.
Give an award to Flute Guy.
Yeah.